As if on the verge of death's gate, he suddenly awakened a mysterious mechanism of unknown origin. Thanks to it, he discovered his own shadow possessed infinite evolution ability. Strangely, he could also absorb minerals to enhance defensive power. His tattered vehicle mutated, transforming into a sharp, slashing blade. Even more, that shadow could split into an army of spectral warriors. It turned out, in 2035, a spatial rift from another realm suddenly tore through humanity's defenses. Humankind was hunted by beastmen and mutants, surviving only through evolved ones fighting for life. The protagonist of this tale, named Li Ji, lost both parents tragically in an unnamed mine. Ironically, instead of compensation, he was falsely burdened with an astronomical debt. A mere mortal like him couldn't oppose those with supernatural powers, ultimately forced to toil in the mining zone. Yet today, a bizarre event suddenly occurred. The ground in the stable mining area violently trembled. While everyone was confused, the leader quickly reassured, "Just a minor quake." Before his words finished, he was instantly pierced by a grotesque creature. And then, like a curse, disasters followed wherever he went. The mutants immediately charged, slaughtering without distinguishing young or old. Even those trying to escape by vehicle were annihilated instantly. In the crisis, Li Ji suddenly realized these mutants seemed highly averse to fire. His gaze darted to a nearby torch, thinking, worth a gamble. At that moment, a mutant lunged, and he sensed its presence. Worse, another approached from the right. He leaped toward the torch, grasping for it. The next moment, the torch was firmly in his hand. Gripping the wooden handle tightly, he softly said, "Good." Li Ji wildly waved the torch around, shouting, "Get lost!" Seeing the monsters freeze, not daring to approach, he sighed in relief. His guess was right. Thinking so, he shouted loudly, "Listen! They fear fire!" 10 years ago, the world suddenly saw spatial gates appear, with bizarre creatures like venomous worms, strange beasts, and mutants flooding Earth. A giant monster with dozens of eyes emerged, only countered by those awakened by radiation. At that time, an unknown figure relentlessly attacked them. Thanks to evolved ones, humanity closed the Calamity Gates and entered a new era of exploiting alien energy. Sadly, we weren't among them. Back in the chaotic mine, Li Ji urgently rallied. "We're mere mortals. Surviving this world is already a battle." He loudly guided survivors. "Find anything flammable. Hurry! Against those mutants, even escaping is a luxury." A man tightly gripped his torch, trembling uncontrollably, voice shaking. "But this torch won't burn long." Li Ji quickly turned, relaying, "There's gasoline in the back storage. If they block the cave entrance with fire, they might hold out until rescue." The group followed his lead, back to back, forming a circle, slowly retreating. As they neared the gasoline barrels at the cave's end, he nodded approvingly. "Well done." Seeing the moment ripe, Li Ji whispered to the person beside, "Quick, pour gasoline at the cave entrance." The man replied instantly, "Got it." Without hesitation, he kicked over a barrel near the entrance. The pungent liquid spilled, reaching the mutant's feet in a flash. Seeing the moment ready, Li Ji shouted, "Throw it!" The torch in his hand shot down, hitting the gasoline trail. A sea of flames erupted, incinerating the screaming mutants in agony. The man from before placed a hand on Li Ji's shoulder, voice choked. "Thank heavens you're here." He looked at him intently, adding, "Without you, we'd have perished out there." Others nodded, one saying, "Just say the word later. I won't refuse." At that moment, Li Ji's gaze fixed on a strange object. He hesitated. Eyes locked on the giant statue nearby. "This statue is..." A group member replied, "Found long ago in the mine. Heard manager Wang Ding planned to sell it secretly on the black market, so it's stored here." Li Ji examined the statue, slowly saying, "Seems ancient." Then the radio crackled. "Mine Zone 7, Mine Zone 7, respond if you hear." The man beside rejoiced. "Signal's back. Ask when rescue's coming." He replied instantly. "Mine Zone 7 hears. We're under mutant attack. Need urgent rescue." The other end responded. "Message received. Rescue team arrives in about 2 hours. Stay safe." Everyone gasped. 2 hours? The man shouted in panic. "Can't it be faster? Hello? Hello?" But static faded to silence. The radio lost signal in the cold mine. Another spoke anxiously. "Now what? Suits only last 90 minutes. I don't want to die. My wife and kids are waiting. Damn it, let's drive out, save who we can. Waiting here is death." Nearby, Li Ji focused on the small control panel on his wrist. Display showed 61%. He thought silently. Suit's energy's low. Hope rescue makes it. Then another voice rose. "Wait, I've something to say." He and a few behind gripped weapons, eyes cunning, tone suggestive. "Our suits are all nearly drained. In this situation, someone must sacrifice." Glancing at the old man and Li Ji, he smirked. Like the old guy, or the orphan kid. Pointing his staff at them, he said clearly, "No family, drowning in debt, living's just pain. Why not give others a chance?" Facing Li Ji's furious glare, the man coldly declared, "Instead of struggling, hand over your suit's battery." Li Ji gritted. "You—" Cutting him off, the man swung his staff at Li Ji's shoulder, yelling, "Still resisting? Think you're worthy?" He stepped forward, towering, voice dripping sarcasm. "Go on, fight back. Let's see if you can." As he spoke, he grabbed Li Ji's throat, with two others forcing off his mask, mocking, "Let's help you. Maybe radiation awakens your powers, and you'll be a savior." Seeing his mask tossed aside, Li Ji roared, "Bastards, if I awaken, you're the first I'll kill." The man sneered disdainfully. "1 in 1,000 chance of awakening, think you're chosen?" His men pinned Li Ji, removing his suit's device. He added smugly, "Another good battery." Turning to the others, his voice cut like a blade. "Next, who's sacrificing for the greater good?" One instantly shoved two beside him, yelling, "Take theirs, not mine!" As he tried to flee, others chased, shouting, "Grab him!" The man climbed into a vehicle, others yelling, "Stop! You'll doom us all!" In the cockpit, he cursed. "Damn it! If I die, we all die." The vehicle roared forward, shaking the giant statue, which tilted and fell. The statue crashed, cracking as cries rang out. "Stop him! If he breaks the fire barrier, we're done!" Amid dust and debris, a voice from the statue. "The fire barrier's broken." "Mutants are rushing in!" Li Ji glared at the cracked statue, asking doubtfully, "You laughing?" Seeing a warped smile in the statue's cracks, he gritted, "Even a broken statue mocks me?" At that moment, mutants flooded in. They raised bloodied hands, a nightmare before him, and a heart-wrenching question echoed, "Why?" Grabbed, his head lifted midair. A thought exploded. "Why does this all fall on me?" A giant hand pierced his chest, pain making him think, "Just because I'm weak." In his mind, cruel faces appeared, taunts echoing, "Scram! Your parents are dead, so what? Don't expect poor relatives to raise you. No money? Get out. Your parents' death doesn't erase their debt." Night. Pouring rain. In memory, a desperate voice. "Get lost! I don't take debtors!" Before him, a man among lackeys sneered. "Crazy? Investigating your parents' deaths? Suing the corporation?" Papers thrown in his face, the man roared, "Here's all your complaints. I got them all. Want truth without a price? I'll show you. Truth." As they retreated, another man stepped up, foot raised over Li Ji's body, declaring, "The truth is your parents broke rules causing huge losses. Not only no compensation, you must repay their damage." His hand pressed the ground, fingers trembling, clutching at something intangible. The man kicked his face, growling, "Sign the compensation papers, take a few bucks and be done. Why seek truth and invite ruin?" The kick threw Li Ji aside. The man continued, threatening, "Your debt's mine to collect. 30,000 monthly, 3 years clears it. My men come on the 15th. Can't pay? Face the consequences." Before leaving, he tossed coldly, "For your pathetic face, one way out. Mine in another dimension to clear the debt." His mind snapped back as a mutant pierced him. In life or death, he screamed inwardly. "If I die, I'm taking you with me." Thinking so, he bit hard into the mutant's shoulder, mind roaring. "So what if I'm weak? Who says the weak must lie down and die?" The mutant, bleeding, furiously threw him like trash. Flung upward, he muttered, "This stench, truly disgusting." In the void, a massive black shadow appeared, laughing. "Thought you had potential. Just futile struggles before death." Li Ji retorted, "At least I bit it. Better than a useless statue trampled to pieces." The shadow crossed arms, sternly saying, "Only I can save you now. Just surrender your body to me." Li Ji gritted, eyes blazing. "No need! I'd rather die than let an ugly thing like you control me." It laughed gleefully. Stubborn even at death's door. It seized his body, growling, "Fool! Think you have a choice?" A cold, mechanical sound rang. "Shadow system, activate!" His body moved swiftly, circling the mutant, disorienting it. The shadow grabbed the mutant's head, slamming it to the ground with a chilling thud. Lifting a foot, it said icily, "The one who stepped on that statue. Just a lowly ant, right?" The giant foot crushed the mutant into a bloody pulp. Li Ji's voice rang out, "This grudge, I'll never forget." Suddenly, another mutant appeared behind him, roaring. Li Ji turned, smirking softly. Lingering ghost, huh? Before it could charge, a deep black hole opened beneath the mutant's feet. He coldly said, "Enjoy the abyss." As his words fell, the creature was swallowed whole, unable to struggle. Its face, before vanishing, showed clear panic and unvented malice. Li Ji spat out the filth in his mouth, muttering, "This thing, truly disgusting." He leisurely approached those who humiliated him, voice low, "Next, your turn, scum." The suspended group thrashed in panic, stammering, Li Ji, what are you doing? Touch me and I'll report you." At that moment, a surging aura like a storm radiated from him. The shadow within spoke calmly, "I'm curious. Return this body to you. What would you do?" Li Ji stepped slowly toward them, their faces drained, pleading, Spare us. You can't do this. We just wanted to survive." One stammered, "Besides, without us, how'd you know you could awaken?" "Sure, we were harsh, but you're evolved now, aren't you?" Hearing this, Li Ji's brow furrowed, voice like morning frost. "So, I should bow and thank you?" Thinking they'd swayed him, the man forced a smile. "No need to thank. Just forget it. Let us go." Another chimed. "Yeah, exactly." At that, Li Ji snapped his fingers, a faint smile forming. "Not only will I spare you, I'll help you too." As he spoke, the group's false masks fell, revealing their true nature. The men spat blood, raging. Li Ji, you!" He didn't respond. Turning to the others, they screamed in terror, "No, don't kill me. I'm innocent. I did nothing." Li Ji casually tossed 2 energy cells, saying to his allies, "Their batteries, now yours." The shadow within spoke coldly. "Drop that pathetic compassion." It emphasized, "That mercy will only drag you into the mud." Li Ji turned to leave, voice firm. "Shut up. I don't need your lectures." The shadow followed, whispering, "Let's see. When facing death, will you stay stubborn?" Reaching the cave's entrance, a swarm of mutants like ants confronted him. He gasped, "Mutants!" Li Ji observed sharply, "Didn't expect so many outside." The shadow spoke. "2 choices. Give me your body, or handle that filth yourself." Seeing Li Ji's trembling legs, the shadow mocked, "Scared stiff already? Without my power? You're nothing." Before it finished, Li Ji stood tall, growling. "I told you." He leaped into the air, landing on a mutant's head, shouting, "Don't preach to me!" His foot lightly pressed the mutant's claw. He thought, "Feels effortless." The mutant swung its claw. He dodged easily. His face showed clear astonishment. His icy gaze swept over the circling mutants behind. A mutant suddenly charged. He dodged like a breeze. Noticing his movements, Li Ji realized, speed and reflexes, they've grown immensely. As a mutant lunged wildly, the shadow seized his body, sneering, "Linked to the shadow system, and this is all you've got? Pathetic!" Li Ji roared, eyes blazing. "Shut up!" He threw a punch, blasting the mutant away, shouting, "This body is mine!" As he spoke, he stared at his trembling fist, shocked, thinking, "Why's my strength surging so fast?" Seeing the mutant rise, he calculated, bare-handed attacks can't deal lethal damage to these monsters. Channeling energy into his palm, he wished, "If only I had a weapon now. That'd be perfect." When a jet-black dagger appeared in his hand, he realized, stunned, isn't this the shadow blade from the shadow system? Without hesitation, he assumed a combat stance, murmuring, "Let's see if it feels right." His slash tore through, splitting the mutant in half, blood spraying. Seeing this, Li Ji's eyes lit up with excitement. "So, I can kill mutants too." Two more charged. He thought, have I truly become an evolved one? Suddenly, another mutant attacked from behind, ambushing. He spun decisively, slicing cleanly, severing the mutant's head. Fueled by the thrill of battle, Li Ji charged like a tiger, roaring inwardly. Finally! His face hardened, eyes blazing. "I'm qualified to fight back." A stream of red blood sprayed like a fountain from a monster's body. Its massive hand fell limp, collapsing dead on the ground. Li Ji collapsed too, panting heavily, as if unburdened by 1,000 weights. Amid the mutant corpses, he burst into hearty laughter. At that moment, a mechanical voice sounded. "Evolution complete. Li Ji, human race, rank E." Scene shifts to a hospital room, a nurse beside a doctor by the bed. She wondered, no injuries or illness, vitals normal. Why hasn't he woken? The doctor explained gently, "Newly evolved are like this. Exhausted, their bodies need time to adapt to the new rank." Hearing this, the nurse's face lit up, eagerly asking, "An evolved one? What rank, doctor?" He smiled. "We'll see when he wakes." A firm call came from outside. "Let's go, next room." The nurse glanced back reluctantly. "Can I look a bit longer?" "So handsome." Above the bed, the shadow hovered, face sour. "Why this lowly species? Rank E? With my lineage and power, he should be S, A at least, or B at worst. Yet stuck in this tattered E-rank shell. Still, this kid activated the shadow system, even forming a dark avatar first try. Interesting. Sadly, this awakening level can't handle a fraction of my power." Li Ji opened his eyes, staring at the shadow, voice calm. "You again. What are you? Why cling to me like a leech?" The shadow sternly declared, "Lowly human, listen. I am the ancient supreme of the Shang-Shija race, ruler of myriad prison realms. Now I command, offer your body. When I reclaim my throne from my traitorous kin, you'll be richly rewarded." Li Ji glanced sideways, thinking, big talk. Supreme? Shang-Shija? Never heard of it. All bark. Even if I die, I won't give my body to an ugly, crude thing like you. Hearing his thoughts, the shadow was stunned, raging inwardly. Bark? Black and ugly? A human dares mock me? It gritted. No more words. Offer your body, your only value. Li Ji didn't reply, mind swirling with doubts. Why me? Offer my body? Like demonic possession? Doesn't add up. Or is it obsessed with my looks? This thing's unhinged. If it pushes too far, should I give in? But it doesn't care about gender. What if it's that? What then? The shadow froze at his absurd thoughts, inwardly fuming. No, 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 this face! I wouldn't touch it if starving. I must stand firm till he backs off. Reason with him? We're incompatible. If I anger him, we're both done. I'd be a ghost. He'd lead the way. Souls entangled, who's who in the underworld. It angrily cast aside those thoughts, snarling, "Enough! What's with these ridiculous thoughts?" Grabbing his collar, it pulled him face to face, eyes furious. "You're blinding me. Why pick such a pathetic human? If I weren't rushed, I'd rather choose an old dog than this trash." It coldly tossed Li Ji aside like a sack, shouting, 3 days. Fail to reach rank D. I'll erase you from existence." Li Ji hit the ground, dazed, asking, "Wait, aren't I in a hospital?" The shadow replied, "You're in the gate of hell. My race's rank E trial, insect." It continued, "Sky-shaking clan members get 1 try at this trial post-maturity. But since I merged with you, attempts reset." A giant monster appeared. The system droned. "Armored guard bug." Li Ji gasped. "Armored? What? Why face this thing?" The shadow explained, "My shadow system auto-extracts combat data from my knowledge bank. You'll get used to it." Li Ji's face showed doubt, hand gripping the blade. "Shadow system. What is it?" A blur shot through space, slicing the air like lightning. Li Ji shivered, thinking, too fast. The monster roared, shaking the void with fury. Li Ji charged, quickly spotting a weak point on its back. Without hesitation, he slashed a lethal strike at its back. But what awaited was an unscratched surface. The monster launched a sharp, deadly hook kick at him. Li Ji pressed on, determined to carve a deep gash. Still futile, he gritted, thinking, this shell, impossibly tough. The shadow mocked. Useless. It taunted, your only tactic is reckless charging? Li Ji snapped. My fight, not your call. The shadow sneered. Can't win. Don't beg me for help. He attacked relentlessly, but the monster seemed unaffected. Li Ji gritted, sweating. Damn. No weak point on this bug? The monster's eyes locked onto Li Ji as if sizing up tough prey. It suddenly struck, sending him flying back like a leaf in a storm. Li Ji crashed into the wall, spitting a mouthful of blood like red wine. The shadow shouted, Get up! So weak for rank E? Scanning green liquid on his shoulder, it asked, startled, What's this slime? Looking back, the monster's pincers dripped the same green fluid, sizzling on the ground. It roared in rage. Li Ji's eyes lit up, asking, Your blood? He glared, lips curling into a cold smile. Good. Found your weak point. From above, the armored guard bug dove like a meteor, radiating lethal force. In response, Li Ji raised his weapon, hissing, Let's see who's truly weak. In the smoke, the Ancient Supreme's chilling aura emerged, eyes sharp as blades. Shadow Twin. Simultaneously, Li Ji sliced through the armored guard, his blade flashing coldly, severing a leg. The Ancient Supreme mocked. Half a day for one leg useful? Li Ji panted. Lose one leg for defense, it's easier now. He advanced slowly, exuding pressure. Hitting the weak points much easier. The monster retreated. Doubtful. Weak point? Li Ji gripped his weapon, thinking, if only I had a better weapon. As he spoke, his blade transformed, sharper. He roared, This is it! As the armored guard charged, Li Ji stood firm, raising his blade. Come on! His eyes flashed. It's not frozen in fear, it's... Seizing the moment, he thrust decisively into its belly, the fatal point. Watching the monster dissolve into light, Li Ji sighed. I won. The system mocked. Killing one rank E and you're panting like that? Li Ji picked up the crystal, frowning. What's this? A surge of energy flooded his body. The Ancient Supreme cursed. Fool, that's an energy stone with a chance to boost your power. Li Ji nodded. Oh, experience pack. Suddenly, as his eyes darted to the dark where faint glimmers approached, unclear, the Ancient Supreme snapped. Can't you use Shadow Twin to see? Li Ji tilted his head. Another skill? It instructed. Channel dark energy into your eyes. It'll activate. Moments later, he opened his eyes wide, spinning. "I see it!" A mutant mantis lunged, firing a barrage of sharp spikes. Li Ji reacted instantly. Leaping into the air to dodge, the spikes embedded deep in the rock wall, shaking the cave violently. He ducked low, eyes scanning. So fast. What are these ghostly things? A sense of unease surged within him. They're coming again. Without hesitation, he spun to dodge a lethal strike, gliding like wind. While dodging and muttering, Li Ji's face screamed, "Is my shadow twin skill useless? Why can't I see clearly?" The Ancient Supreme's cold voice replied mercilessly, "It's not the skill. Your strength is just pathetic." Hearing this, Li Ji's eyes lit up with hope. He thought, if weakness is the issue, gathering more energy will make me stronger. From afar, in the dim darkness, a figure smiled gleefully, eyes sparkling. A weak rank E human, wielding dark energy so adeptly. Things are getting interesting. The Swift Harvest bug, infamous as the Skull Reaper, ambushed enemies with sudden head strikes and was adept at firing toxic spikes from afar, though rank E, its ferocity and bizarre habits made it a nightmare. Again, the Ancient Supreme spoke, mixing praise and scorn. "Seems you're getting the hang of basic knowledge." Suddenly, Li Ji froze, a chill running down his spine. He muttered, "Wait, this number." Then, oddly humorous, he recited, "Your human saying, see one cockroach, a swarm's behind." He shivered. They were indeed numerous. Immediately, a horde of bugs roared and charged like a tidal wave. Meanwhile, the Ancient Supreme commented casually like a judge, "Not bad, finding a safe spot to avoid being surrounded." Li Ji swung dual blades like a raging storm, unleashing chilling, killing intent. He roared like thunder. "Get out of my sight!" The observing foe raised an eyebrow, shocked. "Already activated second stage Shadow Twin?" The Ancient Supreme continued sternly. "These rank E creatures are quite the gift." At that moment, Li Ji sensed something off. The bug's movements seemed halved in speed. A thought flashed. He guessed, "Is purple their weakness?" The system chimed. "Weakness noted, spike-shooting species." The armored guard bug gritted. "This is the reward for upgrading Shadow Twin to second stage." It ground its teeth like a stone crusher. Knowing the weakness, attacks can pierce defenses. Li Ji shouted decisively, "Their weak points below!" Without delay, he drove 2 dark spikes into the ground, unleashing Shadow Spike Burial. Dark spikes shot up, piercing enemies for widespread damage. A ding sounded repeatedly. Rank D breakthrough rose 1.2%, 2%, 2.7%. Li Ji felt unease. Just 7% per bug? He spun like a whirlwind, eyes locked on the armored guard bug. Knowing its weakness, he'd strike without mercy. He charged like an arrow, excitement mixed with shock. At second stage Shadow Twin, his precision had soared, and rank D breakthrough rates jumped with each strike. In a fleeting moment, Li Ji paused, instincts scanning behind. "What's that?" A mocking laugh rang out. "Quick reflexes, but your brain's too slow." A glint flashed in Li Ji's eyes. As the armored guard bug closed in, he realized it wasn't that. It was a blazing monster bug. Without a second's delay, he swung, purple glowing dual blades flashing. The creature growled hostilely. He exclaimed, "Oh, turned the blades into a whip?" Instantly, the jet-black whip wrapped tightly around the enemy. His voice hissed, "Got you!" Without hesitation, Li Ji struck a fatal blow on the armored guard bug, smirking, "Still think you'll escape?" The system flashed. Blazing monster bug's weakness recorded. From another direction, crazed creatures fired a volley of sharp spikes at him. Pain shot through his arm. Li Ji retracted the shadow blade, turning it into a dark whip, lashing fiercely. "Like shooting? Taste my whip!" A lethal lash with a taunt. "No butt left. Try shooting now." The system lit up. Rank D breakthrough hit 12.1%. Li Ji glanced at the rest coldly. "You're all next." As he spoke, he went berserk, slaughtering the creatures, roars mixed with whip and blade sounds, blood dyeing the ground deathly purple. The Ancient Supreme watched, half satisfied, half mocking, "Finally starting to match me, though your moves are messy." It explained professorially. Dark shadow eyes grant enhanced senses, reflexes, strength, and dark energy control, hence called the Shadow Eye Ritual. A ding rang. Rank D breakthrough hit 34.2%. At that moment, the Ancient Supreme warned loudly, "But the ritual drains immense mental energy, the price dark shadow eyes demand." It mocked. "Rank E is rank E, already hitting your limit?" A hollow feeling rose in Li Ji. His vision blurred as if fogged. This hard-won power, his only shot at revenge. Seizing the chance, the armored guard bug charged with lightning speed. Li Ji drew his blade again, eyes sharp as wind. "Fall here? Never." The timer showed 15 hours, 18 minutes, 42 seconds left. In his heart, resentment roared. "Those NG Corporation beasts! They hid the truth of my parents' deaths, forced me to bear debts, scraping every coin." Waiting no longer, he shot toward the bugs, blade swirling. He vowed, "Why suffer just for being human? With power now, I won't back down. Revenge." Li Ji's eyes flashed like lightning, glaring at the bugs, resentment surging. "All of you, I'll drag to hell." Again he vowed, "They'll kneel before my parents' graves, weeping in regret." The system glowed. Rank D breakthrough hit 95.4%. Time left. 2 minutes, 15 seconds. The Ancient Supreme frowned, sensing something odd. Rare for human resentment to align so well with dark energy, even nurturing it. It urgently warned, "Time's almost up. Act fast." Later, the Ancient Supreme frowned, surprised. "You're really using all your dark power at once? Not afraid your body will explode, soul shattered?" Despite the warning, Li Ji gripped his blade, eyes fixed on one belief. Almost there. Strength is what matters. Without hesitation, he shot into the air like a meteor, blade sweeping a purple arc. "I'll bet everything." Amid the chaotic battlefield, Li Ji abruptly changed course, diving to the ground like a comet. On impact, the earth roared, debris flying under the violent pressure from his body. Wiping sweat from his brow, he heard the Ancient Supreme's reluctant praise. "Not bad. You can barely be called Little Dark now." Hearing this, Li Ji instinctively turned to look back. His eyes froze. Before him was a massive weapon. It explained, "This bug lair was a testing ground for our master rank warriors, equivalent to human rank A." Without delay, he lifted the greatsword bare-handed, eyes fixed on its sharp lines. "Dual sword? Isn't this a giant sword? Were your people all giants?" The Ancient Supreme sneered. "Compared to my dark power, this weapon's a toy." Li Ji retorted, "Not so sure." Its eyes showed doubt. "You plan to use it for something else?" Li Ji answered bluntly, "Sell it for cash." He continued gleefully, "Only knight-rank warriors can sell gear, so my first stop's the registration hall." As reality returned, Li Ji gasped, stunned. "Rank E? How can I be rank E?" The woman across the desk pushed a form, visibly annoyed. Adjusting her glasses, she said, "Your physical stats are decent, but no energy fluctuations detected. So, rank E." Expressionless, she added, "Per records, you're registered as a mine laborer. Rank E gets a 15% wage increase." Outside, Li Ji feigned indifference, smirking. "The shadow system is unmatched." The Ancient Supreme cut in, sneering. "Your kind's feeble perception can't sense dark power." Li Ji thought, "Undetected is good, just tricky for selling gear." Scene shifts to the night market, where shady deals unfold in shadows. The Ancient Supreme grew intrigued. Night. Fits the dark system well. In an alley, a teen whispered, "Mine ventilation pipe?" Another sneered, "Pitch black, reeks of ash. Business is slow." Now a miner shows up. The ancient supreme glanced around, chuckling coldly. Humans are laughable, sticking shiny stones on scrap iron, calling it divine. "I almost pity you." As Li Ji approached, their voices snapped like shooing flies. "Scram, miner! Why loiter?" Li Ji suddenly turned, voice heavy with emotion. Su Xing. Memories flooded. The day she left without looking back, hurling, "Your parents are dead. Take the millions in compensation. Now you're broke in debt. Don't waste my time." Nearby, Zhou Ding eyed Su Xing suspiciously. "You know him?" She stammered, waving. "Me? Know that low-life miner? Maybe. A fan?" "I'm famous online. It's normal." Zhou Ding dragged his sword, glaring at Li Ji, voice dripping contempt. "You dare call Su Xing's name? Standards here are dropping, letting in bottom-feeding trash. Aren't you ashamed?" He swung his sword skyward, roaring. "Scrap yards still open down the street. Sell your junk there." Then he slammed the sword down, bellowing, "Scram!" Moments later, Zhou Ding stared in panic, his sword shattered. "What the hell? How?" Li Ji smirked, voice icy. "Looks like your sword's the real junk." Su Xing fumed, shrieking, "Impossible! You said this sword cuts iron like mud, worth a fortune!" Zhou Ding cursed. "Damn it!" Losing control, Zhou Ding charged, fist raised, snarling, "You little punk! You're dead!" His punch grazed Li Ji, who stood calmly, eyes cold. Too slow. Zhou Ding stumbled forward, still growling. "Not bad." Moves. Regaining balance, he spun, furious, teeth grinding. Then, before finishing, he unleashed a flurry of kicks, yelling, "How's this?" Li Ji tilted his head, dodging like leaves falling, eyes glancing coldly. "This move, slower than the buglair trials by far." Zhou Ding glared, fists clenched, doubt surging. This guy, just a lowly miner below rank E? He couldn't believe it. "I'm knight rank and I can't hit him?" Suddenly a dark cord shot out, coiling around Zhou Ding's wrist like a python. His body was yanked mid-air, thrashing, shouting, "Miners belong in their filthy caves!" Li Ji's gaze cut like a blade, asking softly, "Think lying on the ground suits you better?" Without another word, he coldly yanked the cord. A heavy thud echoed as Zhou Ding was slammed to the ground, sliding meters like a discarded sandbag. Seeing this, Su Xing rushed over, shouting, "You're amazing!" Zhou Ding roared in fury, "Damn it!" Li Ji glanced sidelong, his mocking voice piercing. "Looks like you're eager to be her guard dog." Enraged, Zhou Ding charged like a rabid beast. "Damn you! Tired of living?" At the peak of tension, a thunderous shout rang out. "Stop!" Zhou Ding turned, startled. "Boss Wang!" From the darkness, a man emerged, face stern, voice like a bronze bell. "Young Master Zhou, you're a regular, but fighting on my turf, that's too much," Su Xing interjected, feigning outrage. "Bian Ming Zhang, that miner broke Zhou's treasure sword, so he acted." Hearing this, Defa frowned, repeating, "Miner?" He approached Li Ji calmly, eyes steady. "Did your sword really break Zhou Ding's weapon?" Li Ji turned, lips curling slightly. "He attacked first. His sword broke. Not my fault, right?" Defa slowly faced Zhou Ding. "Young Master Zhou, is that true?" He whispered to Zhou Ding. "That kid's sword. Likely extraordinary. Same old rules." Zhou Ding sneered. "Fine, money to me. Goods to you." Defa approached Li Ji, steps firm, aura intense. "All right. Since Zhou wants me to mediate, I will." He slowly touched the sword's hilt, voice low. "Friend, may I see your sword?" Li Ji handed it over. "Take it." Touching the sword, Defa shuddered. Feeling its true weight, his face grew serious. "This sword weighs hundreds of pounds, yet he holds it effortlessly. An evolved one? Needs closer inspection. He probed. A miner like you. Where'd you get such a weapon? Li Ji tilted his head, voice cold with mockery. Since when does the night market check sellers' identities and item origins? Defa paused, then forced a smile. Just curious. If you don't want to say, no matter. Li Ji narrowed his eyes, piercing. Probing me? Unfazed, Li Ji smirked casually, saying he found the sword while mining. Defa laughed scornfully, voice dripping contempt. Truly a lowly laborer. Moments later, his eyes scrutinized the sword, declaring, sturdy but lacks special traits, worth a few hundred at most. Joe's sword, undamaged, would have been over 2 million credits. Defa sighed, feigning sympathy, tone icy. As a miner, life's tough. I'll keep this old sword. You compensate Joe 2 million credits and I'll cover the rest. He glared at Li Ji, a sinister smile forming, voice patronizing. Consider it my help. What say you, Joe? Joe Ding quickly agreed. Fine, since Boss Wang steps in, let's do it. Su Xing protested. No, this lowly miner can't afford 2 million. You promised me a car. He leaned close, whispering sinisterly, Don't worry, his organs will cover it. Su Xing smiled, satisfied. That'll do. Li Ji smirked coldly. You're quite the planners. A thug cracked his knuckles, threatening. Got a problem? Li Ji glared, laughing loudly, muttering, Oh, I do. He advanced heavily toward them, saying cryptically, Not just me. The thug raged, roaring and charging. Cripple him! As chaos erupted, Defa turned indifferently, bored. This fighting's dull. Let's sip tea and wait. Joe Ding chuckled. Good idea. As they turned to leave, a thug was suddenly hurled into a wall. Seeing this, Defa screamed, A bill! Be careful! Damage the goods! And he can't pay! Before he finished, Li Ji launched a devastating kick. Instantly, the thug's body flew like a broken kite toward Joe Ding. Li Ji quipped, Mining's not useless. Stamina's pretty good. He stopped, facing Joe Ding, voice firm. Your turn. Joe Ding's face paled, teeth grinding, muttering, Since when did this miner get so strong? I admit you're not bad handling small fries, but he roared, charging like lightning, boasting, Before a low-rank evolved like me, you're still trash. As he closed in, Li Ji calmly raised his hand. A thunderous slap struck Joe Ding's face, sending him flying yards. Joe Ding went mad, voice hoarse with rage. Even my dad never slapped me. You dare hit my face? In a frenzy, he unleashed magic in a lethal strike, roaring, I'll send you to hell. At the battlefront, Li Ji stood tall amid stunned gazes, calmly raising an invisible energy shield. The sight chilled Joe Ding. Sweat pouring, lips trembling, he thought, What's happening? It's like an invisible wall divides worlds. Before he could recover, Li Ji approached calmly, voice steely. If even your father's powerless, I'll discipline this unfilial son for him. Joe Ding retreated, stammering, You, stay back. Another shouted, disbelieving, Brother Ding, you're knight rank. Can't you handle a miner? Suddenly, mysterious black cords appeared, binding Joe Ding tightly. He screamed in terror. What's happening? Pausing, Joe Ding's eyes flashed with doubt. You're no miner. Evolved rank C? Or B? Li Ji shrugged casually, smiling. Rank E miner, officially certified by the guild. Joe Ding was thunderstruck. Impossible! Before he could react, Li Ji raised his hand. Joe Ding yelled, Wait! I'm with Black Leopard Gang. Touch me! You're against Brother Leopard. Li Ji paused, eyes deep as an abyss. Black Leopard Gang? The ones strangling people to death? A beat later, he smashed a fist into Joe Ding's face, sneering, Black Leopard Gang? Brother Leopard? Relentless, Li Ji kicked him away like trash. Under the lethal blow, Joe Ding spat blood, body limp like a broken leaf. Li Ji turned, voice like thunder. I despise loan-sharking scum like you. At that moment, Defa charged, roaring, "Go to hell!" Before touching Li Ji's sleeve, he was stopped by a fierce roar. "Get lost!" In a corner, Zhou Ding crawled up, tears and snot mixing, begging, "Misunderstanding. I've got 100,000. Let's be friends. Let today slide." Li Ji approached, voice like winter wind. "Such thick skin. A slap's only worth 2,000? Zhou Ding wailed, 500,000. No, 1 million. Don't hit my face. He lifted Zhou Ding mid-air. Face icy. Love loan sharking? Let's calculate by your interest. 50 slaps were just profit. Now for the principal. Sensing a storm, Zhou Ding pulled out a bank card, stammering, 5 million. It's yours. Enough? Li Ji glanced at the card, eyebrow raised at the NG Corporation logo. So the ones forcing me to mine and debt are their lackeys? Fine. Release Zhou Ding first. Let him lead those snakes out. Zhou Ding whispered, "Really? Kill me. You get nothing, I swear." Pausing, Li Ji let him down, saying cryptically, "Black Leopard Gang's been fleecing me for years. This money returns to its rightful owner." Su Xing rushed to Zhou Ding, worried. "Young Master Zhou, you okay?" He glared, furious. "Didn't you say he's just a miner?" She stammered, I want to know how he turned dragon." Zhou Ding's rage erupted. He slapped Su Xing hard. "If you hadn't said he's a miner, I wouldn't have fallen for this trap." He grabbed his phone, eyes blazing, roaring, "My money's not that easy to take. Just wait." Elsewhere, a man calmly answered his phone. "Speak." Zhou Ding's frantic voice crackled. "Brother Leopard, can you deliver justice? Some punk stole my sword meant for you and swore to destroy Black Leopard Gang." The man smirked, saying coolly, "Send all his info." A lackey asked nervously, "Goods are with Brother Leopard. What about these people?" The man shrugged, eyes cold. "People? Anyone here?" He smiled darkly, gaze murderous. "Of course not." The lackey acted, killing the group without hesitation. The man declared, "Zhou Ding handed that kid to you. Live or die." Your call. The Shadow System recorded NG Corporation, a vast multinational financial force behind Li Ji's parents' deaths. Black Leopard Gang, merely their debt collection arm, forced Li Ji into mining. In the bustling central reception hall, a staff approached politely. "How can I assist you?" Li Ji straightened, eyes serious. "I'm a rank E evolved. Any suitable missions?" Laughter erupted. One sneered, "What? Rank E? Trash like that dares enter here?" Another guffawed. "Lowest missions are rank D. You here to die early?" A woman giggled, mocking, "Wow, rank E with such bravado? Thick-skinned." A man glared disdainfully. "Rank E leeches live off our scraps, disgusting parasites." The staff coldly pointed to the door. "Leave. Rank E waits outside. If a team needs you, they'll pick you there." A burly man added, "Right. Left at the door. By the trash pile." The crowd roared. "Trash belongs with trash!" Amid the hail of insults, Li Ji frowned. His 5 million was quickly drained by loan sharks. He needed a mission, by any means. Suddenly, high heels clicked rapidly from behind, each step silencing the air. The hall's crowd grew uneasy, retreating, eyes fearful toward the sound. Space trembled, dust falling from the ceiling. All eyes locked on the mysterious figure. Whispers spread. "This aura, at least rank B." Rank B pressure? Terrifying. "I can't move." A young woman appeared, long hair flowing, attire elegant, demeanor noble, like an orchid in a mundane world. The crowd paled, stammering, "Why's a rank B master here?" Li Ji's gaze swept her. Her aura was intense, yet her appearance was a delicate heiress. No killing intent, making him wonder, is she hiding her edge? Exaggerated yet restrained, oddly contradictory. A man scanned the crowd, announcing, Rank D beast mission needs a rank D evolved for harvesting. Volunteers? Dead silence followed. The crowd retreated. Eyes turned to Li Ji, shocked. This kid's rank E, yet stands firm under rank B pressure? Another stammered, "My knees are shaking. Shouldn't a rank E be on the floor?" Yet he stepped forward. Li Ji turned calmly, facing the woman, voice steady. "Looks like it's just me." She didn't reply, observing him, thinking, "Just a minor? Unshaken by my pressure. Interesting." A middle-aged man approached, fawning. "Miss Chin from Longmen's 3rd Street. We have many rank D evolved. Let me bring some for you." She cut him off, eyes on Li Ji. "No need." "I choose him," the staff gasped. "He hasn't registered." "It's against protocol." She spoke briefly, with authority. "I am the protocol. I said him, so it's him." The staff paled, retreating. "Yes." The man beside her gestured for her to follow, while the staff shivered. First time Miss Chin personally picked a minor. "Who is he?" Elsewhere, Bullhead raged, swinging a wooden beam to tear everything apart. At that moment, from the shadows, Flute Man casually played a piercing note that echoed through the space. Instantly, Bullhead's head exploded, blood and flesh splattering. Amid the chaos, Li Ji calmly scanned, noting frontline, damage, support, solid team composition. He surveyed further. Their coordination was tight, with a rank B evolved anchoring the defense. Things seemed on track, but he paused, eyes shifting downward. Something was off. Doubt flickered. The bullhead beast below clearly exceeded rank D's assessed strength. How did no one notice? The ancient supreme's voice whispered, "Your shadow twins at stage 2. This perception isn't something those scum can match." Li Ji brushed it off, pondering. Others missing it is fine. But that heiress, did she not notice? He hypothesized. Could she have known all along, hiding it for some purpose? A subordinate whispered, "Miss, intel suggests the star crystal vein you seek is likely in that area." She didn't reply, turning sharply, eyes like blades piercing Li Ji, commanding, "Minor, follow me." He responded warily, "Coming." Inwardly cursing, "Damn, she knows it's dangerous. Why drag a minor like me?" Li Ji's footsteps echoed in the cave, her proud silhouette ahead, an invisible weight pressing the air. He listened cautiously, sensing growing danger, muttering, "Does this heiress not care about her team's lives or mine, or is she so confident in her rank B strength to ensure we all escape?" Suddenly, Li Ji's step faltered. Both he and the girl plummeted into a deep abyss. The team above screamed, "Miss!" After a moment, they landed hard on cold ground. Tension etched Li Ji's face, eyes fixed ahead. A massive, bull-headed beast man appeared, clearly rank D. Unfazed, she advanced, gripping her sword. Li Ji smirked. "Oh, rank B evolved, ready to strike." She swung, her blade tearing the air like summer thunder. But her face shifted, eyes flashing with fear. She retreated, eyes locked on the foe, voice trembling. "Minor, you go first. I'll support from behind." Li Ji froze, eyes wide. "Huh? I'm just a minor." Moments later, her body shook visibly. Overwhelmed, she knelt, grabbing Li Ji's arm, sobbing, "I don't care. You go." He frowned, skeptical. Rank B sending a rank E to die? My life's worth pocket change? Inwardly, minors pay for this kind of risk. In panic, she shouted, voice breaking, eyes teary. 1 million credits, I'll pay you, just handle them. Money trumped reason. At 1 million, Li Ji nodded instantly. For that price, I'm in. He swung his blade, voice bold. Fine. I'll reluctantly agree. His hand grazed the weapon, steel glinting as he advanced toward the bull-headed beast, striking cleanly. The herd roared, their aura overwhelming. Li Ji matched them. Come on, cow ears. But surprisingly, they ignored him, charging past like a storm. In a flash, the herd targeted the girl. Li Ji paled, thinking, "Not good. My 1,000,000 credits." At the critical moment, she unleashed a defensive barrier, repelling the beasts like dry leaves. Li Ji looked up, frowning. She's got that move. I worried for nothing. But a beast man suddenly leaped, swinging a massive axe down. Li Ji rushed forward, summoning his short sword from the void. Without hesitation, he slashed straight through the beast's torso. Lips curling, he glanced at her, mocking. "Why do you attract so much hate, Miss Kin?" She bolted, screaming and pointing. "Run!" "They're all yours!" Li Ji sighed, taking a deep breath, charging the herd like his life depended on it, muttering, "No helping her." On the other side, the girl panted, breathless from a harrowing chase. She stopped at a steep cliff's edge, thinking, safe at last. Suddenly, her instincts screamed danger. She spun around, her face paled, body trembling like a leaf in a storm. Voice faltering, "Why, aren't you afraid of me?" The bull-headed beast's eyes burned with rage, raising wooden clubs like thunderbolts. At that moment, Li Ji looked up, confused. She can fight back. Why stand frozen? In panic, she raised her arms to shield herself, trembling pitifully. Instantly, her wristband glowed brightly, a mystical energy blasting the beast man down. Its massive body was flung back. Li Ji dodged swiftly. Beside her, the wristband shattered, its light fading. Li Ji frowned, puzzled. A protective artifact? Was that power not hers? The thought struck. He eyed her. "You're a support class evolved, aren't you?" Blushing, she nodded shyly. "Yeah." She trailed behind Li Ji, whispering, "But keep it secret outside, please." He smirked. "That'll cost extra." Gripping his short sword, he said steadily, "Why do these bulls only target you?" His eyes blazed, scanning the beasts, activating second stage Shadow Twin. A strange aura emerged, sparking doubt. Someone hiding their presence? No wonder he couldn't sense them. The bull's odd behavior must stem from this weird wave. A bull-headed beast appeared beside Si Yin, roaring, "Hey, digging guy!" Without words, Li Ji struck, slicing its mane like grass. "Not done yet!" He shielded Si Yin, cursing inwardly. "Damn! These bulls keep coming! A wide-range skill might hurt her. I need to break this stalemate before I'm drained." A spark hit him. Right. If the hidden one's targeting Si Yin, he stomped, purple chains binding the bull's legs. "Then I'll play along and hand Si Yin to him." The bulls were trussed like pigs for slaughter. He warned, "You've used 2 protective artifacts and aren't combat-focused. Be cautious of sneak attacks." Si Yin blushed, embarrassed. "Why say that in front of me?" Unbeknownst to her, someone approached stealthily from behind. He gripped his weapon, face malicious. "A mere minor almost ruined my plan. No more artifacts? Time to end you." As she let her guard down, he raised his weapon, muttering coldly, "Qin Si Yin, blame your stubborn father." A cold blade struck without mercy, but it wasn't his. Li Ji's precise slash severed the assassin's arm. The young man stood stunned, eyes struggling to process the chaos. A rank D craftsman, a wandering poet, a true market bard. Li Ji exposed him. "You used ultrasonic waves to drive the bulls to attack her." Si Yin gasped. "Liu Deng!" No longer hiding, Liu Deng laughed loudly, voice scornful. "Outdone by a minor? My mistake!" His aura surged. His laugh turned to a warning. "Don't celebrate yet. This isn't over." Clouds above shifted. The bulls' corpses and living ones had their life force drained toward him like leaves to roots. In moments, a massive aura formed a towering bull figure around him. Witness the power of a control class evolved. Li Ji gritted his teeth. This aura. Rank C. He's absorbing beast life to enhance himself. Si Yin panicked, looking down. Lava? Is he ascending to a rank C lava bull? Li Ji smirked mockingly. From rank D to C? Cheating like that? I can only bow in awe. Before they could react, The rank C lava bull charged like a living volcano, while they remained rank D. He swung a massive war axe down mercilessly. Li Ji raised a shield, protecting himself and Si Yin from the brutal strike. The attack scattered debris, the ground trembling under heavy pressure. The thin shield began melting under the horrific force, highlighting the cruel gap between rank D and C. They were at their limit. Si Yin looked worriedly at the burn on his arm, voice trembling. "You're hurt." The bull broke the shield, raising its axe again. Li Ji grabbed her hand, eyes sharp. He lunged forward, shouting, "Hold on tight!" The axe was inches from Si Yin's face. She screamed in terror. Li Ji strained, using all his control-class power to lock the bull's arm. Following close, she gasped, "It can't move. You can use control skills too?" Though he pinned the foe, they didn't stop. He urged, "Don't know how long I can hold him. Run now." To Si Yin, he said urgently, "Enter the maze. Don't look back. Run far." They dashed like wind. She asked worriedly, "What about you? Not coming?" At a fork, he let go. "I'll hold him off to buy you time." Her eyes filled with worry. "Minor." He smiled, watching her. "Hide well. I'll find you soon." He chuckled inwardly. "After all, she's my 1,000,000 credits." The system chimed. Shadow Knowledge Library. New data. Beast Realm. General term for Beastman World. Recorded, rank D, bull-headed beastman, and rank C lava bull beastman. The creature named Lu Dang, stubborn as an old ox, rolled his eyes wildly, his head twitching like a madman until he froze upon seeing a figure floating in the air. With a hammer raised, he sneered and said, "Oh, so you were looking for me?" No one knew where the aftertone came from, and at that moment, the power inside him erupted violently. The ground shattered like struck by meteorites, yet his movement was light as he retreated behind the massive beast. "Then take a guess," a calm voice echoed. With a swift spin, he slashed at the beast's heel, but something unexpected happened. The blade left only a faint scratch, unable to break the creature's tough defense. Not even a small crack. The thought flashed through his mind. He sneered mockingly, "Ha! Is your brain made of tofu, swinging a blade at rock?" The beast's massive claw swept down, shattering the ground, but he dodged nimbly and slid aside, facing a flow of molten lava ahead. "I must lure it to an open area," he thought, as Lu Dang roared like thunder. "Brat! You're no better than a rat running away forever. Besides running away, what else can you do?" he shouted angrily. He smiled faintly, calm-eyed, thinking that no matter how strong it was, there must be a weakness. Using his shadow clone skill, he watched every tiny movement when the creature roared with murderous rage. "After I kill you, he'll find that girl." It charged madly, stomping the ground as if to crush the space. "Get out of my life!" The attacks hit only air. In the chaos, his sharp eyes noticed something odd. Finally found it. Without hesitation, he dashed back, sword raised for a killing strike. His gaze never left the weak point he'd spotted, like an eagle locking its prey. But Lu Dang was not foolish. He spun and coldly said, as if reading minds, "You think I didn't see your dirty trick?" Under overwhelming pressure, all tricks were useless. A terrifying swing sent him flying like a leaf. The strike was so fierce he doubted reality. Terrifying, and its only C rank? The monster gave him no time to breathe and barreled like a whirlwind. "This time you can't hide." Calm beneath the surface, he prepared. At the right moment, his blade turned into a soft rope and wrapped the beast like a fatal net. "Oh, you stopped running. New trick is using vines." It sneered. "Useless. That scrap only tickled me a bit." He didn't gamble. When the foe swung, he slipped behind and whispered like the wind, "The moment has come." A cataclysmic heat erupted from that weak spot, melting the surroundings as everything trembled before the abnormal heat. "What the hell is this? It's insanely hot," he muttered, sweat pouring. Even using all his body's dark energy, he couldn't extinguish the intense heat, feeling baked alive. Lu Dang laughed triumphantly. "You're smarter than I thought. You found the weak point and hit it?" Its eyes gleamed slyly, voice wary. "I don't know how you found it, but you struck my weak spot. Even my protective shell is useless because that spot exceeds 2,000 degrees. Then it grew serious. Tell me where Qin Si Yin is, and he'll spare your life. He curled a lip, contemptuous. A petty ingrate like you don't expect me to trust you. The beast roared in fury, its aura like a cyclone. You clearly want to die early. It swung its axe like heaven falling, but he leapt aside like bamboo. If you have skill, don't make me dodge, he shouted angrily. He activated his dark shape ability, turning the weapon rope into a sharp blade slashing straight at his foe. Lu Deng tilted his head, narrowly dodging. He sneered, You dodge this time, but not next. As soon as it evaded, he transformed the rope into countless blades of dark energy. They flew like a flock of evil birds toward the weak point on the monster's back. But before hitting, the weapons melted under the extreme heat from Lu Deng's body. He laughed arrogantly. Ha! Useless effort. He scowled, muttering, Tch, truly troublesome. Lava began surging, ready to drown everything. The heat spiked, draining his dark energy. Danger mounted. Must I rely on Jingtian? He thought, but quickly denied it. No, even if I die, I won't let him control this body. Besides, defeating a C-rank monster would yield unimaginable experience. He couldn't waste that chance. Thinking so, he dove from the air, gripping his dark spear like lightning. I refuse to believe it can't be broken. Though his flesh felt burning, he gritted his teeth. Break for me. The spear tip pierced Lu Deng's weak point. It screamed in agony, body exploding, its life fading, its path of berserk rage skill, activated power, PLO 200%, speed and crit rate tripled. A heaven-splitting strike hurled him away like a leaf in storm. He smashed into a rock wall, dizzy. Why did this guy suddenly go berserk? The creature approached, eyes full of disdain. A worthless miner like you dared corner me? Sadly, that's your limit. Its next swing burned his flesh as flames licked every inch of skin. Suddenly, darkness surged around him like a cloak of shadow. Why is my dark energy suddenly so strong, he wondered, when a deep voice echoed in his mind. That power was always inside you. Your body just needed this extreme heat to awaken it. Shocked, he realized he had unlocked a new form of dark energy, which healed his wounds and activated a new state. Primary Dark Enhancement. Lu Deng was stunned as his foe not only endured but grew stronger. He was puzzled by the rapid recovery and eerie aura. Fear spread within the beast. It swore not to let him recover another second. A fierce attack shot toward him, but he easily dodged. The monster was stunned. It was shaken. How could this kid match its tripled speed? Strange, it was hard to believe this one was merely E-rank. Enraged, it roared, "Ill flood this whole area and see where you can run!" Lava erupted violently, destroying everything, yet he didn't evade this time. He stood calmly amid the trembling magma, eyes cold as judgment. He smirked inwardly. This furnace is too cool. Lu Deng was astonished, eyes full of disbelief. It wondered what had happened impossible, that blood earlier hurt it so badly. But now the tables had turned, it was his turn to suffer. They clashed again, battle exploding in full fury. In his dark enhancement state, he became deadlier than ever. He slashed off the monster's stone arm into fragments. His defense, strength, and speed all rose by 200%. Lu Deng panicked, mentally crying, My arm, this damn brat!" It dropped its other arm amid chaos. But he had switched to twin blades, slicing the remaining arm into shards. He realized in this state, his attacks could even strike from range. Lu Deng refused to yield. Lava flared, forming two fiery hands as its regeneration activated instantly. It boasted that with lava, it could infinitely regenerate, rendering his attacks useless. He sneered coldly. Infinite regeneration, huh? Observing closely, he noticed its energy fluctuations weakening. It waved its hands, taunting him to try again to prove that infinity. Yet his skills shredded those regenerated arms again and again. The monster began sensing something strange in the situation. Its regenerated limbs grew smaller, energy fading. Panic filled it as it failed to grasp why. He replied coldly that its energy had reached the limit and it should accept its fate. Lu Deng trembled, begging, "Wait, we had no real grudge." He smirked, saying true, but Qin Si Yin paid him $1 million to protect her. The monster hastily pleaded, claiming Qin Si Yin was wealthy and had promised 5 million if it returned to Wrong City. He shook his head, warning that once in Wrong City it might betray and ambush him to death. It protested desperately, denying being ungrateful and swearing never to break its word. He smirked coldly, as if that confession reminded him of something crucial. He mocked that a liar like it would face misery if caught by Tan Shaoshang, father of Qin Si Yin. Saving his daughter and exposing a mole would earn Long Men's deep gratitude, worth more than 5 million. Lu panicked, realizing that falling into Tan Shaoshang's hands would be worse than death. It explained desperately that its organization would destroy its family if this happened, and no money could save them. The voice of darkness in him questioned the existence of a Hellgate fragment in its possession. It warned that if the fragment were activated, the link between the Abyss Beast and the outside world would sever, trapping everyone here forever. Lu forced a laugh, pretending confidence and blaming him for pushing the situation. But in the next instant, everything changed completely. He moved with terrifying speed, snatching the fragment from its hand. Instantly, he swung his blade, stabbing mercilessly into the weak point on its back. Lu screamed in agony as its massive body shattered into pieces. From its broken chest, a glowing red core burst out. The core floated mid-air. He reacted swiftly. He enveloped it with dark energy, taking it in and realizing why earlier bull demons had no cores. All had merged into this one. His Shadow Clone skill upgraded to Supreme Shadow Clone, shaking the ground as the Abyss howled in death. The voice of darkness in his head confirmed the Abyss Beast was collapsing as the lava bull's energy source vanished. Indeed, the Abyss began to crumble as its sustaining force dissolved. When calm returned, he and his companions appeared at the Abyss exit. One sighed in relief, another marveled at the quake, and the one beside him praised his power far beyond E rank as Qin Si Yin smiled and invited him to join Longmen Sanjie, promising her father's generous reward. He shook his head firmly, refusing to join any faction for now, and asked her to keep his true power secret. She nodded with a gentle smile, handed him 1 million yuan as fair payment, and he accepted gratefully. He drew his sword, placed it before her, and asked if Longmen Sanji would acquire this item. Qin Si Yin examined it closely, noting it lacked energy fluctuations but had unique material, promising to bring it for appraisal and ensure his fair share of the profit. He nodded with slight satisfaction, saying he'd await her news before leaving, inwardly noting Qin Si Yin's weapon knowledge might ensure stable sales if she saw their value. Holding 1 million yuan, he told himself he hadn't lost out. Back at his hideout, he opened the Hellgate shard and pondered as the inner darkness whispered that collecting all fragments could lead him to S-rank power or beyond. He was shocked by the concept of S-rank the darkness mentioned. The darkness mused, concluding the shard was still active and urging quick aid for that child, the key to everything. The inner voice warned he'd one day face entities beyond human understanding, debating whether to tell him now, but chose to wait until he grew stronger. Li Jai had now advanced to Quasi-D rank, mastering skills like Dark Knowledge, Dark Morph, Supreme Shadow Clone, and Primary Dark Enhancement. From above, he observed a guard team, 1 B rank, 3 C ranks, and elite enforcers blocking NG Corporation's secret site, a sealed E-rank dimensional gate after a mining accident. He frowned, knowing his strength was still insufficient to uncover the truth, while the inner darkness scoffed that an E-rank gate wasn't worth dissecting. He clenched his fists as painful memories of his parents and their deaths resurfaced vividly. A man tossed a stack of money before him, coldly saying 200,000 yen was NG's compensation, demanding he sign the death report. He shouted, eyes red, rejecting the money, declaring he wanted the truth, not payment. The man sneered as if hearing a bad joke, then slammed the boy's hand onto a cold table, saying flatly, "I told you already it was an accident. Your parents and the miners died." The boy thrashed wildly, screaming in despair. He protested fiercely. "My parents were both C-rank evolvers. How could they die in a trivial accident? They're still alive. Please, let me in to find them." The man smirked with contempt, eyes looking down on him. "Kid, places like that are full of unseen dangers. Even C-ranks can die anytime." The boy clung to hope, pleading, "But it's only an E-rank dimension. The strongest mutant there can't exceed E-rank. With their strength, escaping should be easy." The man burst out laughing, half mocking, half threatening. "Ah, I see you're after more money, huh? Or maybe you're just begging to die early." The tense atmosphere felt frozen in place. Ning Donghao, the supreme leader of the NG Corporation, and an A-rank evolver entered calmly, his icy gaze fixed on the aggressor. "Let go." His voice cut through pretense like a blade. "I told you to properly console the victims' families. Is this what you call comfort?" The man instantly bowed, fawning. "Kid, take the money. 200,000 can help you through hard times." But the young man brushed him off, his tones steel hard. "I don't need money, I need the truth." Ning Donghao nodded firmly. "All right, we'll investigate and give you a clear answer." Yet the only thing he received was a report accusing his parents of stealing resources, along with a compensation bill worth millions. In his mind, Jing Tian's cold voice, while in energy-saving mode, echoed, "No matter the race, the weak are always trampled." He continued, "Instead of complaining, gather more fragments of the trans-dimensional gate. Once you gain absolute strength, can't you overturn any so-called truth with a single word?" He silently agreed, but Jing Tian had long heard all his thoughts. If not for the secrecy of dark energy and the E-rank minor label, it'd have been invited to a team long ago. He muttered, looking at the tiny creature. "This Jing Tian sometimes trying to take my body, sometimes helping me grow stronger. Friend or foe? Why does he look smaller? Is his power weakening? If he's really deranged, that promise of reaching S rank might just be nonsense." Suddenly, Jing Tian roared like thunder. "Hey, brat, stop overthinking. If you didn't have potential, I wouldn't even glance your way." He frowned, confused. "I didn't say anything. Why's he mad again? Maybe there's a cure for interdimensional insanity." While his mind was still tangled, his phone buzzed softly, pulling him back. A new mission appeared on the glowing screen like a silent call from fate. In a blink, the scene shifted. Before him stood the shadowy gate to the D-rank Demon Zone ruins of an abandoned industrial site. A voice, half reproachful, half expectant, called, "Why are you late?" He smiled lightly, waving it off. "I came from another E-zone, a bit far." A man recognized him, astonished. "Well, hey, young master, long time no see you're joining this mission too." He sighed with emotion. "You've grown so much. It's been 5 years since the incident with your parents, hasn't it?" Not everyone was friendly. One man sneered that he was just a filthy miner, while the 3 brothers of the Gu family, all Class C evolvers, mocked beside him as the guide nervously explained the mining-related mission. Guda impatiently demanded details, and the guide explained that this was a Class D ghost zone, and the goal was to extract 60 caddies of mystic eyesore. He thought it was excessive to send 4 Class C evolvers for a Class D mission, noticing their murderous aura. Nearby was Hazy, another veteran Class C mercenary, and he sensed more hidden ones. Then a voice from the comm device, Zhui Bao of the Heibao gang, announced the deadly hunt. Hazy worriedly asked if he needed protection gear, but he smiled confidently, saying he could handle it as an evolver now. The others mocked him, laughing that an evolver miner was a joke. Gusan jeered, calling him the Trash King. Hazy warned him not to provoke them, and he calmly reassured that he wouldn't be baited. As they moved out, he kept quietly scanning the surroundings. The vegetation seemed deliberately rearranged for ambush, with a misty, chilling fog covering the area. Suddenly, a flash shot toward him like an arrow. Apparently, they couldn't hold back any longer. He glanced toward a bush and spotted a hidden Class C foe spying on him, wondering if that was his only purpose. The group behind kept taunting him to move faster, but he replied calmly that they would proceed more quickly soon. An idea struck him to use the terrain cleverly to shake them off and secretly expose the truth. He grabbed Hayes' wrist and firmly told him to hold tight. Then his figure shot forward like lightning, vanishing from their sight in an instant. One man exclaimed in shock at his speed. Another shouted for him to stop, but their companions sneered that the two trash had left the group and would die on their own. From above, Zuebao coldly watched the scene, eyes sharp as blades, ordering the three Gu brothers to spread out, a sinister smile forming. He muttered with a smirk that sensing danger was good. If everyone were as stupid as those three, the game would be boring. Guer nervously told Guda he felt something watching them, but Guda dismissed him, saying 3 Class C evolvers could easily handle a Class D task. Gusan shivered, saying he too felt a chilling gaze on them. He suggested retreating, but Guda snapped angrily at him for panicking. At that moment, Guda and Guer froze in horror. A blood-red cord had wrapped tightly around Gusan's neck, crushing his spine. Zuebao stepped out of the shadows, grinning eerily, mocking them for trying to flee before the game even began. Guda shouted for Zuebao to release his brother, offering to negotiate, while Gusan pleaded weakly for help. Zuebao coldly accused them of repeatedly disgracing the Heibao gang. Saying there was nothing left to discuss, he yanked the cord. Gusan's body was torn apart in a bloody explosion. Gude and Guer stood paralyzed, staring at their brother's shredded corpse. Guer screamed and charged at Zuebao, but Guda grabbed him, yelling for him to stop. Before they could react, more red threads bound Guer's arms, freezing him in place. Yibao sneered, mocking his talk of fighting to the death. The red threads tightened mercilessly, tearing Guer apart in an instant, blood splattering across the dark ground. Guda cried out in terror, calling him a monster. He turned to flee, but Zuebao laughed cruelly, delighting in his fear as Guda screamed for his life. Meanwhile, he and Chu-He hid behind bushes to rest. He calmly suggested a break while Chu-He, panting in fear, asked why he had abandoned the other evolvers. He stared into Chu-He's eyes, sternly asking if anyone or any faction had recently angered him. Chu-He nervously denied, saying he was just an ordinary miner. He frowned coldly, concluding that the mission was a deadly trap meant to bury everyone who entered this ghost zone. Chu-He turned pale, begging him not to scare him, but he urged seriously for any truth to be revealed. At that moment, Guda rushed in, furious, accusing him of knowing everything and pretending ignorance, shouting for him to die for his brother's deaths. From afar, Zuebao laughed mockingly, saying at least Guda was useful for exposing the man behind the shadows, causing Guda to demand what that risk meant. Zuebao coldly replied that he was simply announcing Guda's end. Red cords appeared and wrapped around Guda's neck. Before he could react, Zuebao stepped forward, the cords reeking of blood. Zuebao smirked, saying he hadn't expected a miner like him to be so entertaining. He activated the Supreme Shadow Mirror, his eyes sharp as blades, locking onto Zuebao's weak point. Chu-He knelt, sobbing and begging him to spare them, claiming they were mere miners who had done nothing wrong. But Zuebao sneered. Data appeared in his vision: Zuebao, human, Class C, skill, blood thread high frequency, attack range 10 meters, weak point marked. Zuebao mocked that if he hadn't drunkenly slipped up days ago, they'd never have known he was the escapee. Chu-He trembled, promising to keep that secret forever. Zuebao smiled coldly, saying only the dead can truly keep secrets. He raised his hand to strike. The man shouted a warning, but the blood thread pierced Chu-He's shoulder, making him cry out in pain. The situation had turned desperate and miserable. Without hesitation, he formed twin shadow blades and lunged at Zuebao. Zuebao flicked a thread to easily block, smirking that the miner had some skill. No wonder he could kill that useless Juding. Then he calmly added that such power was only enough to handle someone like Juding. He flicked his wrist, his threads slicing through the air like invisible blades. The man twisted and leapt aside, barely dodging. Zuebao advanced, face gleaming with triumph, coldly saying if his foe sought death early, he'd gladly oblige. The man unleashed his dark enhancement, clashing violently with him. Thin, thread-like cuts began to appear where his skin had grazed contact. Even the enhanced darkness shield couldn't fully withstand the deadly sharpness of those blood threads. Zuebao laughed arrogantly, eyes glowing red, taunting him for daring to slack in battle. A blood thread lashed, flinging him into a tree. Chu-He rushed over, calling out. Li Ji was startled. He shouted for Chu He to stay back, saying a one-on-one fight was disadvantageous and they must change tactics. Xue Bao sneered murderous intent, declaring both of them would die today. He activated the Supreme Shadow Mirror, eyes flashing as he searched for Xue Bao's weakness. He hurled a volley of shadow daggers at Xue Bao. The blood threads easily intercepted them. Xue Bao mocked that this was all he had. He smirked, claimed he had more, and charged with a great dark sword. The blood-red ribbon casually sliced the sword into segments, while Xue Bao taunted that a lowly Class E couldn't contend with him. Suddenly, a figure burst from the ground, roaring, "Xue Bao, don't dream of surviving!" The newcomer transformed his wrist into an illusory rope to strangle Xue Bao, taunting that Xue Bao's arrogance made him vulnerable. His special ability was Xue Bao's Achilles heel. His true specialty, not flashy tricks, was the art of lethal close-quarters combat. But the blood threads kept winding around the newcomer's neck and head. In a single move, the attacker's body turned to dust and scattered. He was horrified. Could a Class C be slain in an instant? The power gap was terrifying. He urgently told Chu they had to find a way to escape. But Xue Bao didn't pursue rashly, simply glancing like a sharp blade and sneering that running wouldn't be so easy. Time passed silently as dusk swallowed the sky. Under the dense trees, they stopped to tend wounds. He said, "Let me bandage you first. When it's fully dark, I'll find a chance to get you out. But Chu..." He shook his head, weakly insisting he'd only slow him down. His eyes flashed cold as he demanded what Chu He had been hiding and why Xue Bao was intent on killing him. Chu He sighed heavily, eyes shadowed. "Because perhaps you discovered a real clue about your parents' deaths." He went pale, heart pounding wildly. He raised an eyebrow, incredulous. "What did you just say?" Unable to contain himself, he pressed, "Please explain clearly. I can't bear it any longer." In truth, Chu He wasn't certain, but Xue Bao's pursuit proved Ning Donghao indeed had hidden secrets. Before the mine explosion, his father told Chu He suspected Ning Donghao was secretly running a dangerous experiment inside the mine. Li Ji clenched his hand in fury. His parents not only died, but were framed as resource thieves, and Chu He kept silent afterward. A tear slid down Chu He's wrinkled cheek as he confessed guilt. He was only a lowly miner who couldn't risk his job to speak out. Li Ji snapped angrily, "So you let my parents suffer that injustice?" Chu He bowed his head, saying he was tormented by regret and that a drunken slip had led to the current catastrophe. At that moment, a red shadow streaked in, a blood thread whipping through the air with a shriek. The surrounding trees were blasted aside as if struck by a violent gale. Chu He was slammed away, trembling and barely holding on as he looked at Li Ji and whispered, "Goodbye." "I'm sorry, Li Ji, don't bear hatred toward me." A red thread swept across, spraying blood like shattered petals. Xue Bao laughed coldly, recognizing Li Ji as the son of the couple who once interfered with him. He sneered he would send Li Ji to reunite with his parents, but Li Ji roared like a tiger and charged, calling Xue Bao deluded. The clash was brutal, yet Xue Bao's blood threads steadily carved wounds into Li Ji's body. Amid the chaos, Xue Bao laughed giddily, as if savoring a perverse amusement. He taunted that seeing the young master bleeding should thrill him, while Li Ji gritted his teeth and surged forward like a released arrow. Although the blood filaments were dangerous, Li Ji's recklessness outweighed any careful plan. He summoned darkness into a great broadsword, and when Xue Bao fully committed, a fatal opening appeared. "Rip him apart!" Li Ji shouted as the broadsword slashed, severing a blood thread and leaving a deep wound on Xue Bao. Struck, Xue Bao staggered back several paces, stunned and disbelieving. "What?" He rasped between pain and fury, accusing his foe of ruthless brutality. But Li Ji was wounded too, blood seeping from a small puncture, and he feared his strength might be spent. Xue Bao curled his lips, mocking him seductively as he struggled. Blood threads surged in, piercing his body like countless cold needles. Xue Bao sneered that if he weren't a weak Class E, he would have finished him long ago. He yanked the bundle of threads, hoisting him into the air, and taunted him to come kill him if he had the guts. He mocked that killing him with mere glares was laughable. His laughter rang out with vicious delight, reveling in the stubborn fire in Li Ji's eyes and taunting that such defiance thrilled him. He crouched, speaking softly to inflame Li Ji's rage, then promised to reveal a secret. Chu-he half guessed it. Li Ji's parents didn't die from a mining accident. In fact, they were killed by that man. Li Ji's eyes flared with murderous fury. Sui Bao laughed and said that same look had been on Li Ji's mother's face when he killed her, and Li Ji's father had stared back the same way. He described carving the woman apart under Li Ji's steady gaze and taunted Sui Bao with contempt. Suddenly, the blood thread in Sui Bao's hand burst into black flame and was burned away, leaving him stunned. The stranger was astonished as Li Ji advanced, black flame forming an impenetrable shield around him. From behind, the darkness whispered approval. The child could indeed use hatred to trigger dark energy. A notification rang in Li Ji's mind. Dark energy surged. Promotion Complete Darkness bolstered from Tier 1 to Tier 2, and the new skill Shadow Shift awakened, allowing entry into and exit from any linked shadow. Qi Bao Decisive Blade. Actually, Quiet Bao in the text looked on aghast as the grievous wound fully healed. He laughed maniacally in confirmation. The predator lunged with blood threads for the dying cries, but the opponent no longer dodged. Sui Bao sneered, asking if the other was a mere scent to him. Hidden in shadow, Li Ji was the real hunter. Using Shadow Shift, he suddenly appeared behind Sui Bao, causing Sui Bao to taste fear for the first time. Su Bao was shocked at how explosively the boy's power had risen. He threw a pan. 3 blood threads shot out fast but still failed to kill the opponent. Calmly, Li Ji leapt up and unleashed another move. From above, he turned darkness into dozens of flying shadow blades raining down. Ji Bao used blood threads to block and shred every blade, rendering the attack useless. But he combined techniques, chaining Shadow Shift with Lightning Step, to move with each blade and appear before Sui Bao, weapon in hand. The sword descended. Zhu Bao formed a blood thread barrier, scoffing that such tricks could never breach his defense. He smiled faintly and vanished from sight. Sui Bao laughed mockingly, saying he never claimed to break defenses and sneered that the foe couldn't attack and defend at once. He asserted that the opponent's weakness was his reaction speed lagging behind blood thread control, turning it into a fatal flaw. Using Supreme Shadow Shift to lock onto that weakness, Li Ji launched a storm of heavy sword strikes like thunder against Sui Bao's body. Sui Bao vomited blood, eyes wide with horror. Impossible. How could he lose to a mere miner? Li Ji demanded coldly, "Speak the truth behind the mine accident." Sui Bao gave a weak, derisive laugh. "What could you do even if I told you?" Without hesitation, Li Ji swung his sword, severing the man's arm. "My arm!" Sui Bao screamed in agony, but Li Ji replied icily. "My patience isn't endless." Gasping, Sui Bao finally confessed. "It was all Qi Shi Hao's plan. Your father found his secret experiment, so we were ordered to kill them and fake it as an accident." Hearing that, Li Ji gripped him tighter, eyes blazing with hatred. "Qi Shi Hao again." Sui Bao sneered weakly, asking if knowing Qi was from NG made him tremble. Before he could finish, a cold sword stroke slit his throat. "You killed my mother. Don't dream of escape." The scene shifted to another moment. He stood before NG Corporation's headquarters, eyes sharp as blades fixed on a luxury car approaching. Qi Shi Hao stepped out casually, unguarded. The darkness warned him. "That's him. Even as Class C, be careful don't dig your own grave." "Can you feel it? There's a Class A evolver nearby." He nodded, eyes never leaving the car. "I know. Inside is Ningdong Hao, founder of NG, and a Class A evolver. Don't worry, I won't act recklessly against Qi Shi Hao here." He clenched his fist. Even so, Sui Bao's words couldn't be fully trusted. "I must find the truth. Was it Qi Shi Hao's order or the NG Corporation's doing? Let's hope Ningdong Hao is innocent. If not, even a Class A will pay in blood." Now he had officially reached Class C, mastering skills like Shadow Archive, Shadow Form, Supreme Shadow Shift, Tier 2 Dark Enhancement, and Shadow Step. He silently watched the car head toward a desolate area, the Heibao gang's warehouse. Why had Qi Shi Hao come here at night? From the darkness, a subordinate warns, "Careful, those are all experimental devices." Qi Shi Hao asks coldly, "That miner, Hinuo, is dead?" "Sui Bao is missing. and the demonic gate he used to enter vanished, so he knew status can't be confirmed. Kuishihao frowns, growling, "What's going on? Shuibao is at rank C, he must have underestimated his enemy." Quickly move all the equipment inside. This stage is critical, no mistakes. Another asks about the prepared money. Kuishihao nods. "Don't worry, the funds are settled." Hidden in the night, he hears every word, murderous intent surging in his chest. Inwardly, he thinks, so it really is you, Kuishihao. Suddenly, one member senses an unusual aura. He whirls, spits a fireball burning the equipment and shouts, "Who's there?" But the man has already used an image teleport and vanished. The other mutters suspiciously, "A hallucination? There was clearly someone here." The man reappears elsewhere and exhales. Lucky almost discovered, rank C still isn't enough to make people wary. Scene shift, he arrives before the Shinshu Corporation headquarters, home of Longmen Sanhai. The darkness beside the tower grumbles. "You skipped the morning mission, why come here instead?" He answers calmly, "To find the third fragment, and to appraise my weapon while I'm at it." Entering the main hall, a female receptionist approaches politely. "How may I help you?" He replies decisively, "I want to see Qin Xiyin." The girl asks, "Do you have an appointment?" Just then, Tu Ching appears, looking down on him with contempt. "A ragged miner dares come here, daring to call the Miss Qin by name?" She turns to a companion, sneering, "Qin Air, look, this filthy wretch even pollutes the air. Throw him out." The other nods. "Yes, Miss Qin." He remains composed, coldly. Is this how Longmen Sanhai receives guests? Tu Ching laughs scornfully. "Guests? Trash like you deserves no courtesy. You're not fit even to be the Qin family's guard dog." His hand clenches, bitterness rising. "So all the Qin family are arrogant," he says coldly. "No need to meet Qin Xiyin then." "If that's the case, I'll be leaving." Tu Ching shouts, "Leave? In your dreams." "Beat him!" 3 guards lunge forward, ferocious as if to crush him to dust. In an instant, he activates a shadow shield. Dark energy erupts, flinging the 3 guards back. Then he darts forward, grabs the blue-haired guard, and lifts him with a cold stare. Tu King panics and rushes. "Put down the Qin Air. The Qin family won't let you off." He sneers, hurling the blue-haired guard back toward her so they both tumble. Arrogant. "For Qin Xiyin's sake today, I'll spare your life." The blue-haired guard fumes, body radiating heat. "You bastard, who do you think you are?" He charges like a fierce storm, aura blazing as if to melt the air, shouting, "Now you die by my hand!" The man calmly counters, drawing a jet-black dagger with eyes as cold as a blade, lunging at him. At the moment of clash, a mysterious figure with a mask appears, arms outstretched to block both sides. A stern voice rings out as Qin Xiyin slowly steps forward. "Stop. You've got some nerve causing trouble in Qin Corporation in broad daylight." The blue-haired guard sees Qin Xiyin and scrambles over, face lighting up as if finding a savior. "This time you're dead for sure. Causing trouble at Qin Corp, my sister won't forgive you." Triumphant, he orders Qin Xiyin, "Throw him out for me." She only glances coldly and says, "Sister, that would be too merciful. His limbs should be crushed instead." Suddenly, the blue-haired man is grabbed by the collar and lifted like a kitten. He panics. What are you doing? I'm your cousin after all." Tu Can rushes in, stammering pleas. "Miss Qin, that poor miner called you by name. Qin Shao stepped in for you. Qin Xiyin cuts her off coldly, eyes like a blade." "Has my friend, what's wrong with calling my name?" Then she commands sharply, "Expel those arrogant guards and that petty staffer. Never rehire them." The attendant bows and replies, "Yes, Miss Qin." Tu King sobs, clinging to Qin Shao's leg in a theatrical wail. "Qin Shao, I'm your girlfriend. She should show respect. I've given myself to you." Qin Xiyin sneers at her cousin, mocking tone. "Qin Shao? Better call you Qin Shu. Borrowing the Qin name to cause trouble, I won't tolerate it." The blue-haired man lowers his head in silence. After handling them, Qin Xiyin unexpectedly turns to the young man, her tone gentle. "I didn't expect you here. Come inside and rest a bit." She smiles faintly, a touch apologetic. "Sorry, a relative from the branch troubled you." He shrugs casually. Every family has some odd members. She nods. Please follow me. At that moment, an attendant rushes over. Miss Chin, CEO Shin requests your presence over there. Chin Xian tells him lightly, sorry, please wait a moment. He'll return soon. He nods calmly. No problem, you go ahead. She asks the attendant, is it urgent? He replies, CEO Shin didn't say, only ordered you to come immediately. The young man sits back, eyes casually scanning the luxurious room. Suddenly, heavy steel doors begin to descend from the ceiling. All exits are sealed like a giant iron cage trapping him inside. A deep, challenging voice echoes through the room. Kid, who the hell are you? He instantly activates his supreme ocular skill, quietly analyzing the opponent. Human, rank, A. Special abilities. Dominating Mind Eye induces fear, hinders enemy actions, and Raging Thunderfire boosts power and physique. Both are rank A skills. The young man calmly replies, Senior, perhaps you've mistaken me? I'm just a minor. Yet he shudders inwardly. The mental assault is unpleasant, and his shadow defense is useless. The opponent frowns, gaze sharp as daggers, muttering, the dominating Mind Eye didn't scare him? Humph. A minor? He snorts coldly. I doubt it's that simple. Then suddenly activates Raging Thunderfire, filling the space with thunder and storm. A lightning-charged strike tears through the air toward him, intent on annihilation. He instantly uses Shadow Shift, dodging the attack in a flash. The foe exclaims in surprise, oh, you blocked one of my blows? That's at least rank B. Still claiming to be a minor? Speak what's your plot approaching Xian? Keep lying and I won't hold back. At that moment, Chin Xian rushes in, pinching the old man's ear playfully yet firmly. Dad, you set me up just to interrogate my friend? Got nothing better to do? She drags him away like a mischievous child. He protests while being pulled. Easy, daughter. Let your old man save some face in front of others. She replies coolly. Face? You lost that long ago, old man. Out! She orders sternly. Don't bother my friend again. His true identity is revealed, Qin Shaoshang, the famous leader of Longmen Sanhai. Qin Xian turns back, apologetic. Sorry, my father's always liked that suspects everyone near me. He smiles faintly. I get it. He just wants to protect you. She raises a brow. You seem to understand my father quite well. He shrugs. Hard not to, really. Behind them, Qin Shaoshang mutters suspiciously, Is that brat aiming for my daughter? She's the light of my life. I won't let anyone snatch her away. She's been my precious princess for 16 years, and she must never be hurt. Hearing that, Qin Xin yells, Dad, Qin Shaoshang, give me some space. Once silence returns, the two sit across each other. Qin Xian hands him a card. Here's 5 million yuan as deposit. The Qingchu sword had special materials, so the client wants appraisal before pricing. He nods. No problem, but I have another matter. He produces a shard with strange patterns. Do you know where to find more of this material? Qin Xian's eyes widen in shock. This is a fragment from the Otherworld. It used to be common, but someone's been buying them all up in recent years. Now it's nearly impossible to find on the market. However, she adds, try the Longmen Sanhai auction, you might find some. He nods. Thanks. Suddenly, someone mutters from behind. Someone quietly collecting fragments? Could it be connected to the... An attendant presents a dossier on a man named Li Ji, 20, formerly an unremarkable mortal, recently confirmed rank E, but listed as a minor due to no obvious anomaly. Qin Shaoshang frowns reading it. Li Ji jumped from rank E to C in days. Perhaps he's been hiding deep strength. Just then the phone rings. Qin Shaoshang answers teasingly, Oh, old Huo, visiting today? The caller urgently asks if the Qingchu sword the daughter sent is still available. Qin Shaoshang calmly asks, what's wrong? The caller presses, check how many remain, well, buy them all. Qin Shaoshang snorts, heh, old fox, you're eager, does that thing have special effects? The caller hints mysteriously, can't reveal much, only that the sword's material can globally boost our military capabilities. Qin Shaoshang mulls. Not only powerful, its owner is mysterious. Even a casual weapon isn't ordinary. Li Ji is truly unpredictable. He strolls slowly through the exhibit, eyes like blades scanning each item for clues to the fragment. Suddenly, he spots Tu Ching hand in hand with Chu Ding, acting intimate. She purrs that she quit the Qin household job to shake off Tan Dung, and Chu Ding laughs, "I'll support you now." She coos, and Chu Ding then notices the ragged miner and sneers contemptuously. "Oh, that miner? Has Shui Bao still not acted?" He steps forward arrogantly and jibes, "Hey, tell me, how did a lowly rock digger like you get in here?" The man curls a lip, cold as a winter wind. "Seems your memory's really bad." "Forgot the slap I gave you the other day so quick?" he says. Then a powerful aura bursts from him like a tidal wave. Chu Ding instinctively trembles back and accidentally collides with the person standing behind. The bystander bellows thunderously, "What are you doing here?" Chu Ding panics, stammering, "He is Shui Bao." Chu Ding hastily points. "It's him who approached you." The man called He Bao burly, eyes like daggers, snorts coldly. "You touched my man. That's a slap to the Black Panther gang's face." As he speaks, he roughly grips the other's shoulder, trying to force him down in submission. But the ground cracks beneath the man's feet while he stands firm as stone, voice colder than an icy peak. "You want me to kneel? Keep dreaming." He Bao grits his teeth, eyes blazing. "Didn't expect such a tough miner. Do you even know who you're facing? Daring to provoke the Black Panther gang? Are you tired of living?" At that instant, Qin Xin appears, her voice sharp as steel. She points at He Bao, declaring this place belongs to Longmen Sanhai. She adds that if they come to spend money, they're welcome, but if they seek trouble, they'll be crushed. Immediately, He Bao releases his grip, reluctantly saying, "Hell, give Qin Xin face this time." They withdraw toward the auction hall under dim lights, the crowd dispersing into silence. The girl tilts her head, worry in her eyes, asking Li Ji if he's all right. Meanwhile, He Bao frowns, drags Chu Ding close, and questions him about the boy's identity. Chu Ding claims that same youth stole the treasured sword and threatened to destroy the Black Panther gang. Hearing that, He Bao rages, lifting Chu Ding by the collar, demanding confirmation. Tu Ching sharply confirms it's true. At that moment, Kui Shihao arrives, his aura dominating the space. He Bao glares at him, realizing the boy was once a target hunted by Shui Bao. He Bao is stunned. The boy is alive once just an E-rank weakling, and his eyes flash murderously toward Kui Shihao. He Bao growls a heavy, threatening remark at Kui Shihao. Kui Shihao returns a cold glance, inwardly suspecting why that cowardly brat is now linked to Qin Xiyin. He recalls the youth was once a useless coward. And he still can't understand how that boy is now connected to Qin Xiyin. Meanwhile, Li Ji walks beside the girl, gently asking why she came back. She bites her lip, saying her father suddenly wanted to see him. Li Ji smiles softly, reassuring her not to worry with him here. Her father won't dare act rashly. Suddenly, Kui Shihao steps forward, his killing intent flaring fiercely. Li Ji remains calm, walking past him, saying he's just a lowly miner forced to work off debt. How could he associate with a top NG executive like him? Kui Shihao smiles faintly, replying that helping his parents was decided by higher-ups, and even he lacks the authority to intervene further. Li Ji narrows his eyes, silently blaming Kui Shihao for shirking responsibility, since that man knows the truth best. He pauses, speaking lowly, "Paper can't wrap fire. Too many unjust acts bring retribution." Offended, He Bao grits his teeth, about to strike, but Kui Shihao raises a hand coldly, reminding him this is Qin Shaoshang's domain, no rash moves. Kui Shihao's gaze flickers with malice. The boy knows too much, so he decides to have him eliminated soon. The girl leads Li Ji to her father, softly saying, "Father, I've brought Li Ji as you asked." Just then, a loud voice announces the auction's official opening. She smiles charmingly at Li Ji and whispers, "The auction's begun. Talk with my father first. I'll alert you if your item appears." He nods gratefully. Turning to Qin Shaoshang, he asks calmly but warily, "What business does President Qin have with me?" The old man sets his glass down and gets straight to the point. "The weapons you had Xian sell before, do you still have them?" His eyes gleam with desire. Li Ji frowns slightly, realizing Qin's deep craving for Qin Tian clan weapons. Yet revealing too many would lower their value and draw danger. He answers evenly. I only came across them by chance, just 2 remain. Qin Shaoshang nods, speaking heartily. Then, counting the first one, I'll pay another 40,045 total. Agreed? He slides the glass toward Li Ji invitingly. Li Ji takes a sip, replying calmly. 15 million per blade is fair, but you know for us, weapons mean survival. Qin frowns, asking grimly, What do you mean? Without hesitation, Li Ji states, 25 million each. Qin Shaoshang bursts into loud laughter. His laugh turns strained, your bold boy daring to haggle with me. At that moment, Qin Siyin steps up, voice sweet yet tactful. Li Ji, the first item you wanted is coming up. Seeing her intervene, her father forces a strained smile, suppressing anger. Fine, I'll wire you the remaining 70 million. Then, as suggested, Qin Siyin guides Li Ji to the main auction hall, softly pointing to a display. That must be what you're after, right? The auctioneer's booming voice fills the hall. Number 14 bids 6.5 million. Number 17 raises to 10 million. The auctioneer's voice booms again. 15 million. Li Ji's eyes gleam at the glowing stone, has certain it's a fragment. With over 70 million in hand, he can compete. Without hesitation, he raises his paddle. 30 million. The pain of the cost stings, but he spends to assert dominance. The host calls. Bidder number 9 offers 30 million any higher. From afar, He Bao grits his teeth, seeing it's Li Ji. 30 million once, twice. Suddenly, Kui Shihao raises his paddle. 50 million. He glances at Li Ji challengingly, testing how deep the boy's pockets run. 50 million. Bidder number 2. Li Ji immediately counters 60 million. Qin Shaoshang chuckles bitterly, remarking that the item isn't worth it and warning against wasting money. Qin Siyin agrees, noting the piece used to fetch only 10 million. Li Ji merely presses his lips, eyes cold toward Kui Shihao, determined to fight to the end. He quietly asks Qin Shaoshang about the financial strength between their 2 corporations. Who truly has the greater capital? Qin Shaoshang admits Qin Corp is stronger, but why should he help? Just then, the auctioneer calls, 70 million, bidder number 2. Li Ji throws 2 swords onto the table, declaring firmly that this is why. Those blades were ones he'd bought before. He warns that the opponent's funds won't be enough to compete fairly. Qin Shaoshang stares at the weapons, astonished, wondering how many more the boy still has. 70 million? First call. Qin Siyin scolds her father, saying with that little money he's overreaching if Li Ji won't add, she will. Qin Shaoshang nods. 70 million, second call. Qin Siyin hurriedly grips Li Ji's arm. Li Ji thinks fast if he delays, villains will snatch it. He also realizes the rich see hundreds of millions as pocket change. He raises his paddle high, voice firm, 100 million. The auctioneer shouts, bidder number 9 offers 100 million. Kui Shihao refuses to back down. Eyes sharp with purpose, the item is vital for his corporations. Secret missions he pushes to 200 million. 400, then 500 million, the crowd buzzes, sweat forming. Are they insane over this fragment? He Bao snaps at Kui Shihao, saying the brat is clearly defying them and unworthy to compete. Kui Shihao lifts his paddle again, coldly announcing a shocking sum, 1 billion. The auctioneer is stunned. 1 billion. Then cries, bidder number 2 offers 1 billion. Qin Siyin squeezes Li Ji's hand anxiously, warning that the villain is provoking him. Li Ji stays silent, eyes icy, deducing that Kui Shihao wouldn't take such a loss unless Qin Shaoshang was involved. Thoi Shihao smirked provocatively, warning the boy to think carefully. It had reached 1 billion. Could he really supply that many weapons? Tan Siyin interrupted irritably, insisting she'd fund it if needed and begging her father not to complicate things. Li Ji shouted to hurry before the villain took it, raising his sign and boldly bidding 2 billion. The auctioneer immediately announced, 2 billion, bidder number 9 offers 2 billion, any higher bids? Thoi Shihao gnashed his teeth, muttering disbelief that the boy had such massive funds. Some whispered it was thanks to Tan Shaoshang's backing. Otherwise, how could that kid possibly have 2 billion? 2 billion was called once, then again amid the murmuring crowd. The hammer fell. The host joyfully declared bidder number 9 the winner of the unnamed item. Tan Siyin cheered and grabbed Li Ji's arm, ecstatic. She couldn't hold back laughter, seeing the villain humiliated. Tan Xiaoshang coughed lightly, eyes stern, reminding that even after deductions, Li Ji still owed over 70 million. He coldly asked if the boy could truly match the weapon quantity. Li Ji pressed his lips, saying rarity made it valuable, quantity couldn't compare by old prices. He snapped his fingers and a pile of gleaming weapons instantly appeared on the table. The number exceeded 100, estimated to cover the 2 billion. Tan Xiaoshang smiled approvingly, praising his honesty and strength. His calculating gaze saw potential for the corporation. He turned to Tan Siyin, signaling her to call Li Jia closer. He advised that next time, report any interesting deals. Seeing his daughter's bright smile, he frowned, thinking the boy better not get close before submitting. He told Li Ji the auctioned items could be claimed, then softly warned him, to which Li Ji replied, "Thank you, President Tan." Before parting, he added a warning. There are methods beyond your grasp, and the NG Corporation is no simple foe you can't overturn all alone. He suggested cooperating with like-minded allies and offered contact if needed. In the distance, he Bao took a call, his voice low. Understood. He turned to Thoi Shihao, eyes sharp as blades, asking if Tan Xiaoshang and his daughter had left, so would Li Ji, or they retrieve the fragment. Thoi Shihao smirked coldly. Wait until he leaves Longman Sanjai's influence, then strike. No more mistakes. A giant creature cloaked in thick darkness suddenly lunged toward Li Ji, its violent aura devouring the world. Teams nearby leapt into the air to evade the fierce assault. On Li Ji's arm, 4 throwing darts gleamed coldly. Didn't that dragon realize the bigger the body, the more blind spots it had? He instantly hurled all 4 darts toward the target, his motion as sharp as death's blade. But when they hit the thick scales, they bounced off harmlessly, leaving no mark. Li Ji frowned, his gaze growing serious. He muttered, "Why does its dark enhancement have such defense?" The Dark One sneered, "Still holding back? With your current strength, you'll only tickle it." Li Ji took a deep breath, eyes fierce, locking onto its weak point as both hands turned into icy blade edges. The Dark One warned, fail to subdue it, and the first-floor trial ends in failure. Li Ji lunged forward, slicing wildly with terrifying force, but even at full power, his blades only scraped the scales without cutting them. The Dark One observed silently, noting, his darkness control and shadow squad skill are stable, but more pressure is needed. He suddenly appeared behind the dragon, voice low. "Hey, hungry, aren't you? You'll feast today." The dragon's eyes flared, drool gushing as it eyed Li Ji like a delicacy. It lunged, jaws wide, moving like a hunting beast, eyes blazing with hunger. Li Ji dodged swiftly, shouting, "Hey, has your pet had its shots? It's gone rabid." The Dark One laughed. "You drained its energy, now it sees you as perfect nourishment. Morality means nothing to it." Li Ji scowled, yelling while evading, "Fight properly! Why bite? If you're hungry, try this." From the darkness, he summoned piles of chicken legs he'd stored for food shortages. "Behold my ultimate technique!" The chicken legs flew toward the dragon, grabbing its full attention. It instantly snatched one, devouring without noticing anything else. At that moment, Li Ji's dark tendrils lashed out, binding the massive creature. Yeah, tasty, isn't it? He tightened the binds, forcing the dragon down, completely subdued. A mechanical voice echoed, "Trial access to Dark Dragon's first floor activated. Received Gate of Abyss link and activation granted." Li Ji glanced at the dragon clutching its chicken leg, sighing, "This guy, seriously?" He raised an eyebrow curiously. "Link and activation? What do those do?" The Dark One calmly explained, "Each fragment, once fully charged, becomes a gate connected to the abyss." Li Ji pondered briefly, then asked, "So if I link to a fragment, I can freely open portals to the abyss?" The Dark One nodded. Li Ji laughed, eyes gleaming with ambition. "If Floor 1 grants such skill, the next 4 must hold even greater rewards." The Dark One sneered inwardly, mocking, "Past the first floor by loophole and already smug? Fine, let's see you suffer on the next." He continued, "Try it. Only stewards and servants of the sky-piercing tower guard there." Li Ji frowned, thinking, ugly and stupid, but what if there's a mutation inside? He said aloud, if Floor 1's beast was C rank, Floor 2 won't be simple. The Dark One shrugged indifferently. Don't believe me? Go see for yourself. It's not life-threatening anyway. Standing before the second gate, Li Jai took a deep breath and muttered, all right, let's go, pushing the door open. As it opened, he was met with a horde of grotesque monsters. Thunder Serpent King, C rank, Water Arrow Turtle, C rank, Lava Bullhead Man, C rank. Li Jai sneered, ha! These are what you call servants? The monsters roared madly, the Serpent King shouting, destroy the intruder! Li Jai swiftly activated Shadow Squad and used teleportation to dodge the first strike. Relentless attacks forced him to use Dark Enhancement for protection. The door behind was closing fast. Drenched in sweat, he dashed toward it. He barely escaped, slamming the door shut before the monsters reached him. Wiping his forehead, Li Jai glared at the Dark One, fuming, you did that on purpose? Those are your so-called servants? The Dark One smirked calmly. I didn't lie. They are servants, your power's just too modest. Li Jai frowned. And that lava bullhead, what's its job? The Dark One shrugged, unfazed. Sound repair. The serpent provides power. The turtle cleans floors. The mutants lift cargo, wash dishes, clean stalls. Everyone has their role. His sinister smile hinted at a new game unfolding. Just then, a notification sounded, detected an approaching A-rank entity. Li Jai instantly exited the trial space, muttering, took it long enough to show up. In the living room, Tan Shaoxiang stared at him, voice low. I heard from Siyin you plan to deal with the Black Panther gang? Li Jai nodded firmly. Yes, He Beos gang has targeted me first. Rather than wait, ill strike. At Longmen Sanjai, they keep provoking me. I haven't acted yet, do you know why? Tan Shaoxiang questioned why that man still remembered him. He replied it was likely to avoid disrupting the balance indeed. The three great forces of Haicheng restrained each other. Wu Tianqiao ruled as city lord, holding political power. Ningdong Hao and NG Corporation controlled the economy, while Tan Shaoxiang ranked just below them in both spheres. He paused, eyes sharp, explaining that though he despised the Black Panther gang's years of exploitation and robbery, as long as they didn't cross the line, he couldn't strike at will. If he opposed them, two outcomes could occur. Ningdong Hao and Wu Tianqiu might ally, or both he and Ningdong Hao would suffer losses, letting Wu Tianqiu seize Haicheng. Ligai nodded, understanding Tanzong meant not to drag the Tan family into conflict. Tan Shaoxiang chuckled softly, denying that assumption. He revealed his plan to form a new faction with Cien to stop the Black Panthers. Li Jai smirked, realizing Tanzong intended to use others as the front line. He laughed, praising the young man's insight, promising to provide funds and manpower while Li Jai and Cien led operations. Thus, the other two powers wouldn't act rashly, and even in failure, he could shield them. Ligai nodded, eyes showing respect after one night. Tanzong had devised such a precise strategy. Tan Shaoxiang snorted, saying if not for his daughter, he wouldn't bother. Glancing at Li Ji suspiciously, he wondered what charm made his daughter so attached. Worrying that his resources might fund the boy winning her heart, perhaps he should distract Siyin and push Li Ji away. Ligai laughed, advising Tanzong not to let his thoughts show so clearly. Tan Xian irritably pushed her father out, ordering him to leave. She turned to Li Jai and asked about his next move. He replied coldly that he'd take the mission handling all Abyss Gate openings and traveling through every gate in Haicheng. She nodded in agreement, saying she'd arrange everything. Li Jai quietly thought that once he linked all fragments, it would mark the Black Panther gang's darkest hour. Soon, a new faction formed. Tan Xian pointed to the carefully selected members, announcing that within the Shadow Gang, Li Jai would command them. The team saluted the eldest lady and their leader. Tan Xian smiled, saying, since Li Jai hesitated to name it, she used his power as inspiration. Tilting her head, she asked if he disliked it. Li Jai smiled, saying it suited perfectly. Li Jai used his special eyes to analyze every detail of the newly assigned members. All were C-rank and impressive force overall. Still, his gaze shifted to Tan Xian with suspicion. He asked why everyone wore full masks. She calmly said it was to hide identities, preventing others from exploiting personal data. She added playfully that it made them look cool. Li Jai smirked, thinking maybe the artist outside just didn't want to draw too many faces. Tan Xian turned and asked what came next. He replied firmly and decisively, of course, to seize the job. He declared he would seize all commission tasks held by the Black Panther gang. She was shocked, fearing the workload was too heavy and doubting their new force's capacity. He kept a calm smile, assuring that they'd only take high-value missions and he'd handle the rest his own way. Under pale moonlight, the Black Panther gang's hideout felt thick with tension. A stack of papers slammed onto the table, scattering everywhere. None dared speak as all lucrative missions had been seized by the New Force Shadow Gang. Hibeo's eyes blazed as he roared, "Do I need to teach you? They provoke us, send men to crush them." But silence met him. One trembling underling was grabbed by the collar and dragged up. The man was nearly lifted off the ground, feet dangling. Hibeo's voice thundered. The terrified subordinate stammered, sweating, explaining that whatever the mission, the Shadow Gang intervened first, delaying work by 5 to 6 hours, and they lacked enough C-rank members to counter. Hibao gnashed his teeth, furious enough to burn the room, cursing at the mysterious power rising like mushrooms after rain. He slammed the table and ordered coldly, "Then buy expedition slots! Send people to scout the targets now!" A subordinate bowed nervously, reporting that all local expedition slots had already been bought by shady individuals. Hibeo's glare turned the air icy. He growled, "I don't care if you steal, rob, or overpay, get our men in. Miss this profit chance, and you alone will pay." The underling bowed repeatedly and bolted like a man on fire. The scene shifted to Tan Xian. She stood in the shadows, communicator in hand. A deep male voice came through. Understood. Her lips curved slightly, eyes sharp as blades. The Black Panther gang had spent heavily to repurchase expedition slots. Before her stood a young man with a calculating smile, asking why she was so sure the enemy would pay that much. Tan Xian shrugged mockingly, saying they'd never let the quarter's biggest profit slip away. The young man frowned, signaling for her to elaborate, still not fully grasping her plan. Li Jai began explaining as Tan Xian walked slowly, dim light casting over her cold, composed face, highlighting her depth. This scheme involved the hidden rules of the mining zones. There, mine chiefs and managers, hungry for extra profit, secretly withheld rare ores or strange items, sneaking them out before inspections for illicit sale. In the past, the Black Panther gang exploited mercenary missions to infiltrate agents, identifying targets for plunder. Because all goods were hidden and lacked legal paperwork, victims wouldn't report robberies. But with that route blocked, they must now pay to buy expedition slots into the Otherworld. The young man nodded with approval, but warned that even high prices only yield a small cut. Tan Xian smiled, her gaze unusually sharp. Li Jai stood and waved his hand. The air trembled. A swirling energy formed and opened a silver starry gate. Tan Xian gasped, "Is that an interdimensional gate?" He nodded, stating he had marked every interdimensional entrance in Haicheng and could open a small door to any area. The plan was to tail those who bought expedition slots, to trace Hibao. Tan Xian brightened, excitedly saying they could then annihilate them. Brilliant. Li Jai warned the gate locations must remain secret. She should pick trusted personnel and wait at his command. Tan Xian suddenly stepped forward, grabbed his hand, eyes shining with eagerness. "I want to join. I love righteous adventures like in stories." Li Jai smiled softly, warmth rare in his eyes. "Then let's wipe them out together," he replied. Scene cuts to a rugged winding road. Several cargo trucks slowly rolled toward the mine. Beside a pile of goods, a man said confidently, "Lao Wang, this shipment will bring huge profits," and Lao Wang promised they'd get their shares. The group nodded, but as the truck prepared to turn, a gigantic boulder suddenly rolled in and blocked the road. The driver frowned, assuming a natural accident, and tried to detour while politely thanking everyone. At that moment, another enormous rock fell from above, embedding itself exactly where they planned to steer. "Watch out," the driver shouted, instantly swerving. "What the hell?" someone screamed, but before they steadied, more boulders thundered down, sealing all escape routes. The truck lurched violently, occupants tossed about, then slammed head-on into a large stone blocking the way. "What's happening? Is the cargo damaged?" A panicked voice called amid the chaos. A young man appeared, a smug, satisfied smile on his lips. "Cargo's safe, but you lot?" he sneered, gesturing as massive rocks hurled toward the panicked people. Someone cried, "It's an evolved! Run!" A scream ripped the air, but the young man only laughed. "Oh? Why rush off? This tycoon hasn't finished his fun yet." At that moment, a shadow appeared like a phantom, voice cold as night. "Ha! Let me join the fun." The youth hadn't reacted before the other used a shadow dodge to appear behind him like wind. "Which dog made my waves shift?" he snarled, summoning stones. But Li Jai was faster, his arm like a claw seizing the man's face. Robbery is contemptible. Treating lives like trash is unforgivable. A brutal shove smashed the man's head into a rock, leaving a deep dent. He stammered, "Who are you?" "I'm telling the truth, don't act, or my brothers won't spare you." Li Jai sneered coldly. "You mean those D-rank guys?" Immediately, his C-rank evolvers surged forward and easily toppled the thug's lackeys. "What is this?" Tan Xin stepped up, eyes alert. She asked, "What do we do with them now? Kill them?" Li Jai shook his head, a sly look in his eyes. "Killing them would be too easy for He Bao. I have a far more interesting plan." A thick black mist crawled from his hand like a venomous snake toward the youth, seeming to torture his mind. The man screamed, What are you going to do to me?" Scene shifts to He Bao's headquarters. He Bao sat gloomily, face like storm clouds. A manager trembled as he reported, "All the incidents were caused by Li Jai from Anying." He Bao smashed the table, roaring, "Anying? Li Jai? When did that damned miner get so dangerous?" Other managers added in alarm. On the surface, they look fine, but bones are shattered inside. Even with top medical care, it'll take at least half a year. 6 badly injured losses exceed 300 million. Before he could exhale, another message arrived. A manager checked his phone, drained. "Team 2 and Team 3 have also been wiped out." "What? Who is doing this? It can't be only Li Jai." The distances between other worlds are hundreds of kilometers. Even if he had wings, he couldn't appear in 3 places at once, He Bao shouted, trembling with rage. A manager handed him a tablet. A surreptitious video played showing Li Jai emerging from mist with a cold, hellish smile. Filming secretly? Li Jai's voice in the video was calm and taunting. "Bao, your men are so weak, maybe you should come yourself for fun." So many of them. His tone remained uncanny. "If they end up hospitalized for a year, that'll cost a pretty sum, won't it?" He Bao trembled with fury, crushed the tablet in his hand, and snarled, "Damn you, Li Jai! I swear I'll grind you to dust!" The scene shifts to a gloomy forest hiding a secret warehouse of the He Bao gang. Qin Xiyin scans the terrain warily. "Li Ji, why did we sneak in here?" He answers calmly. "While tailing He Bao, I found their warehouse nearby. After days of disrupting them, I expect Hell lead this mission himself." Qin Xiyin smirks, eyes clever. "So you plan to raid the warehouse while He Bao is away?" "Exactly." He nods, and a phone suddenly rings. A voice on the line. "Leader Li, He Bao has departed for Otherworld number 3. Good, keep monitoring." He looks at Qin Xiyin, confirming, he really is leading them. For safety, he'll step out to cause a distraction and buy you time. She frowns. "But He Bao is rank B, shouldn't Duan now go with you?" He shakes his head, smiling confidently. "No need, I don't plan a direct confrontation. Duan now would only get in the way." He opens a shimmering dark portal. "Don't worry, if anything happens, I can step through the gate and return immediately." Qin Xiyin nods, voice low. "Be careful." In Otherworld number 3, He Bao stands imposingly, directing henchmen hauling crates and laughing, "We're rich. This is all top quality." A flunky flatters. "Big brother is the best. When you act, even Li Ji keeps quiet." He Bao's smile suddenly fades. His expression turns serious. He spins around, eyes blade sharp. Who's there? A pitch-black rope suddenly coils around a henchman's neck and lifts him high. The man dangles midair, limbs thrashing in desperation. Li Ji steps from the dark, voice cold. Observation ability rank B, not bad. The henchmen panic, drop the cargo and cluster together. Li Ji remains calm. No need to be tense, I'm just a miner. The dangling man screams, Big brother, save me! Li Ji glances at them. Don't act rashly, otherwise I can't guarantee hell stay intact. Suddenly, Hei Bao fires a fireball at Li Ji without hesitation. Then die with me, scum! In an instant, Li Ji pivots, uses the hanging man as a shield, then shadow steps away like smoke. He passes through the crowd unharmed. Hei Bao can no longer see him, yet still appears composed, and even causes losses among his own men, earning silent praise. Hei Bao roars and unleashes a new move, but unexpectedly strikes his own disciple. The disciple is seriously wounded and screams as the attack cuts into him. Li Ji reappears elsewhere, mocking that endangering his henchman was inevitable. A trembling flunky, eyes wild at the sight of his dangling comrade, begs him not to provoke. Hei Bao's eyes redden as he orders the scene replayed. Killing intent flaring, he declares his men's lives mean nothing if he can destroy that man. He roars that this time the enemy will have no escape, unleashing the wide-range fire dragon fist. Flames explode violently, black smoke rising, his henchmen panic and scream to flee. Li Ji keeps a cold smile as if everything proceeds exactly as planned. When the fire turns into a fierce heat wave, Li Ji skillfully hides behind huge rocks using shadow shift. Hei Bao shouts in fury, cursing Li Ji as an insect who only runs and daring him to face him. From afar, Li Ji watches shrewdly. Knowing Hei Bao's rank B perception isn't to be underestimated, he senses the time is near. He smirks mockingly, wondering how his own expression will look once he returns. Night falls. Hei Bao returns to the warehouse only to find ruin, roaring in rage and demanding to know what happened. A trembling subordinate reports that it's related to Bing An Ying and Miss Tan, who brought 2 rank Bs and over 10 rank Cs, leaving them helpless. Hei Bao walks slowly, eyes icy, contemptuous of that word helpless. He grits his teeth and suddenly burns a disciple alive. The man begs for mercy before turning to ash. Hei Bao turns away, murderous, reasoning that Li Ji's sudden helpers must come from Tan Siyin. Then he vows not to be merciful. Madness flashes in his eyes. He questions whether things end here, stressing the warehouse holds all his assets worth hundreds of millions. The man beside him, Hao, suggests thinking carefully and offers to lend men to attack the Tan family. Hei Bao roars that even if Tan Xiaoshang is away from High City, Tan Siyin is not someone they dare touch. Kui Shahao gently lays a hand on his shoulder, voice deep as from a cavern, advising, This is the experiment's critical phase. Swallow your hatred and endure. Hei Bao jerks away, eyes blazing. Kui Shahao, I can't take it anymore. Let's kill Tan Siyin and Li Ji, then leave High City. But suddenly the space tightens, turning dark and suffocating. Behind Kui Shahao, monstrous forms appear, radiating crushing pressure. He says coldly, If you wish to die, I'll gladly send you ahead of schedule. Hei Bao instantly kneels, sweat pouring like rain, frozen in fear. Qi Shahao continues, his voice like war drums in the night. I told you don't let greed destroy the plan. If the experiment succeeds, I'll personally help you wipe out the Tan family. Hei Bao bows, trembling. Yes. But as Kui Shahao turns to leave, Hei Bao grits his teeth, cursing, Damn it, he doesn't care about my losses. I've never been humiliated like this. He snorts inwardly. Does he really think I can't deal with Tan Siyin without him? Inside a car speeding through the silent night, Tan Siyin sits quietly, eyes reflecting streetlights, softly saying to Duan Nao, Li Ji is truly clever, don't you think? Duan Nao, driving, laughs. You sped up because you miss him, huh, young lady? Tan Siyin blushes, replying weakly, Nonsense. Come on, you've mentioned Li Ji's name 24 times today. Duan Nao teases, smirking. I did not, Tan Siyin protests. But her words cut off as Duan Nao suddenly yells, Watch out! A huge truck rushes straight at them, clearly intending to crash. Duan now shields Tan Si-yin, breaks the door, and leaps out. The car is smashed violently, dragged screeching across the road. Water from the tanker sprays everywhere like a heavy storm. Flames suddenly ignite, engulfing the car. Duan now shouts anxiously, "Miss, are you all right?" Tan Si-yin shakes her head firmly. "I'm fine." At that moment, He Bao steps from the shadows, a cruel smile slashing across his face. "How have you been lately, Miss Tan?" Her guards react instantly. "Protect the lady!" Tan Si-yin stares sharply at He Bao. "You're overconfident. Do you really think a few punks like you can touch me?" But suddenly her head spins and her body feels heavy as if sinking underwater. She mutters, "What is happening?" Duan now realizes it and shouts, "The water's tainted!" He Bao smirks slyly, saying he wouldn't attack her without certainty. He reveals the liquid on them is spider venom, potent enough to knock even pseudo-rank A unconscious for 10 hours. Duan now yells for the lady to run, but He Bao closes in. His fiery hand grips Duan Neo's neck, the searing force making him stagger. The loyal man still lunges forward to shield his master. As always, the righteous protector meets a tragic end. Flames engulf Duan Nao's body. Tan Si-yin falls to her knees, eyes brimming with tears, crying his name. In a sealed chamber, heavy air fills the space. Li Ji is deep in training. His figure flashes past wooden pillars with terrifying speed. His shadow step technique flows ghost-like and fluid. Within mere seconds, the wooden posts are shattered into fragments. A shadowy figure nearby nods approvingly. "Li Ji, your control has greatly improved." He humbly replies that he still only ranks C and asks not to be addressed differently. The phone rang non-stop and the shadow teased that Tan Si-yin was calling. He calmly remarked it was just an unusually strong ant. But when he saw the screen, Li Ji's face turned pale and his sword fell silently to the floor. On the other end, He Bao's gleeful voice boasted he was with someone special. That special person was Tan Si-yin, named by He Bao. Li Ji roared, demanding the opponent's purpose. He Bao replied that it depended on Tan Si-yin's place in his heart, offering two choices: pay 1 billion currency or watch her tortured to death. Tears streamed down Tan Si-yin's face as she weakly but firmly warned it was a trap and told Li Ji not to obey. Li Ji gritted his teeth, agreed to prepare 1 billion and asked where to deliver. He Bao sneered, ordering 1 billion cash to the warehouse and threatening that if the Tan family were warned, Tan Si-yin wouldn't survive. The shadow spoke calmly, advising Li Ji not to seek death with a reckless decision. Li Ji shook his head resolutely, declaring abandoning teammates wasn't his way and no one had to die yet. A moment later, Li Ji appeared before He Bao, eyes icy, challenging the kid to reveal where the money was hidden. I requested to meet Tan Si-yin before the exchange, voice steady, and He Bao nodded. He Bao commanded, "All right, bring out Miss Tan." A distant platform gradually moved closer. Tan Si-yin was tightly bound, glaring lights covering her slim figure and her mouth sealed with tape. She was slowly lowered by the hanging rope. Li Ji opened his storage space and threw out a bundle of cash worth 1 billion. Li Ji's teammates confirmed the money was real. Voices trembling but clear. Li Ji glanced at He Bao with a cold, stoic face, asking if Tan Si-yin could be released after payment. He Bao's expression darkened, his grin twisting wickedly as he revealed he hadn't killed before only because he hadn't seen the money. Now he wouldn't let them leave alive. Li Ji pressed his lips, having foreseen this betrayal, unfazed by the deceit. Suddenly he hit a switch. The pile of money exploded violently. Flaming blasts devoured those standing nearby. Thick smoke filled the area as He Bao roared, demanding where Li Ji intended to flee. Through the haze, a sword slash darted toward him like lightning. But with his B-rank skill, He Bao dodged gracefully and gathered a giant fireball in his hand, mocking the sneak attack. Li Ji sneered, warning that one shouldn't play with fire when the air was thick with dust. At He Bao's position, the dense dust suddenly condensed heavily. A thunderous explosion erupted, shaking the entire area as if collapsing. Before the flames reached Tan Si-yin, Li Ji swiftly cut the hanging rope. She fell but was saved in time by a flying creature summoned by Li Ji. From the hay tower, a flying dragon swooped in to catch her safely amid the flames. Liji, seated at the dragon's front, opened a dimensional gate, ordering it to take her inside while he handled the rest. Hei Bao, wounded, shouted that the kid was cunning. Hei Bao angrily declared that once he caught Liji, all wealth and power would be his, then checked his injured subordinates. Over half were hurt. He ordered all who could still move to chase and not let the target escape. The panther charged headfirst through the dimensional gate Liji had opened, with his men yelling in pursuit to prevent their escape. Liji led Tan Siyin into the trial tower the shadow once showed him. She sat beside him, trembling and asking what to do as Hei Bao's men entered. Liji pressed his lips, strangely calm, saying it was fine since Hei Bao would help clear his troubles. He told her to go ahead, hide with the dragon, and leave the rest to him, his words reassuring her through his gaze. Then he leapt off the dragon's back, his figure vanishing like a shadow, asserting he'd be safe. The shadow laughed in admiration, realizing Liji left the entrance open to use them to unlock floor 2. Liji smiled shyly, admitting it and saying no rule forbade help climbing up. The shadow praised his cunning, noting the floor to reward a suit of armor resisting A-rank attacks, a treasure worth coveting. At that moment, a surge of crimson fire rose from the first floor, shooting toward Liji. He calmly formed a dark shield, unfazed by the thought that the fire might be a serious threat. 8 of Hei Bao's men quietly appeared, cautiously stepping onto floor 2. Hei Bao roared proudly that Liji now had no way out. Liji smiled and flicked his hand, dark tendrils extending silently behind him. He casually asked why he should retreat after saving Tan Siyin, then coldly declared it was time to deal with them. Suddenly he pulled hard, flinging open the door behind. Hei Bao, still smug, missed the clue and laughed, saying Liji had gone mad. He turned to his men, telling them not to fear since the target was alone, to finish him first, then find Tan Siyin. He even promised his men a taste of Miss Tan once done. Liji's reply was icy that, though outnumbered, he wasn't weaker otherwise. Then he ordered them outside to welcome guests. He waved his hand, and darkness surged like a gloomy tide. Within the shadows, monsters' crimson eyes gleamed, as if they had awaited this moment for ages. They roared and charged like a raging flood. Liji laughed aloud, inviting them to challenge the trial together. Hei Bao's followers panic and cower before the horrific sight. Liji leaps, driving the charging monsters into the crowd below. One man shouts a warning to be careful. Hei Bao roars orders to stop and suppress Liji, vowing not to let him escape. He condenses a massive fireball in his hand, aiming at the charging creature. The flames erupt, incinerating the beast, and the fireball continues toward Liji. The fireball races at him, but he was prepared. Liji deftly shapes the darkness into a gigantic mace. He declares he will first lower the opponent's hatred value. He swings the mace, shattering the fireball with a powerful shock. A thunderous explosion forces him back several steps. A rank B attack is not to be underestimated. Flaming fragments burst outward, wounding nearby monsters. Liji stands on the ground, bracing to continue. Hei Bao sneers, saying one block was decent but wonders how many more Liji can stop in his condition. Liji grits his teeth, thinking one was already more than enough. He taunts Hei Bao, asking him to look around and see the consequences. Hei Bao panics as the monsters turn their eyes toward him, agitated. He mumbles in a fluster, blaming himself for being tricked by that kid. Liji uses the moment to step back and teases that hell go first if they take their time. The enraged monsters surge toward Hei Bao. Hei Bao bellows, calls them beasts, and orders them driven off and ruthlessly hunted. Consecutive fire strikes burn one, but another immediately rushes in as if tireless. Hei Bao bows his head in thought, eyes narrowing as he reveals his deeper motive. He suddenly growls, furious. "I'll tear you to pieces, not leaving a scrap of skin." Liji heaves open the heavy iron door and strides into the second floor's core, glancing at the silent shadow. "You're not tricking me, are you?" He skeptically asks if armor ahead can withstand rank A attacks. The shadow smirks half-jokingly. "Why trick you? Consider it a reward for clearing the second floor." They encounter a solemn figure frozen in stone like a statue, weathered by wind and frost. The shadow sighs. That's Xu Ming, former steward of the second floor, now probably at rest. He continues gravely. After dealing with Hey Bao, help me arrange his funeral? Li Ji nods firmly. Okay, I'll handle it. Thank you, the shadow replies, voice carrying quiet gratitude. The shadow looks at Shuming once more, then turns. Let's go, the armor is ahead. They continue silently, their steps heavy in the desolate corridor. Before them floats an armor radiating a dim mystical light, carrying ancient divine power. Li Ji exclaims in awe if this is the armor mentioned. The shadow nods in confirmation. He smirks. Yeah, not bad, better than I thought, though inwardly regrets. Too bad the kid's only at second stage dark enhancement. If he'd reached the third stage, he wouldn't have the heart to give up this armor. Li Ji notices the shadow suddenly lost in thought and asks. The shadow shakes his head. Nothing, just take your reward. Li Ji narrows his eyes suspiciously. What's wrong? You seem strangely emotional? He gives a faint smile, but the moment vanishes instantly. The armor suddenly comes alive. Its steel hand grabs Li Ji's neck without warning. A cold voice echoes from the armor. After all these years, I thought you'd never return, my master. Li Ji realizes it's a rank B soul entity skilled in second stage dark soul refinement. The shadow shouts in shock, eyes wide. Shuming! A mocking tone resounds. Who'd expect the once mighty to now crawl in a lowly rank C mortal shell? Shuming laughs scornfully. Give me orders, huh? You think you still have the right to command me? My soul stayed in this armor waiting for your return to keep me alive, yet you stopped striving, only a useless fragment remains. So, I'll refine you, use you as fuel to ascend to third stage dark enhancement, awaken domain power, and make this armor my true vessel. Though choking, Li Ji forces out a hoarse voice. Jingtian, if I give you control, can you defeat him? Jingtian, the shadow, half jokes. Aren't you afraid he'll take your body instead? Li Ji smirks coldly. At this point, still joking? If you could, you wouldn't have returned my body before. A chilling command sounds, inviting the enemy forward. Jingtian merges into Li Ji's body. Li Ji's gaze instantly changes. His power surges. Li Ji flings Shuming away, his tone icy. He mocks that the opponent's strength is only rank A, why struggle pointlessly? Shuming roars, insisting even rank A is enough, but realizes the parasitic state prevents him from using his symbiotic skill. Li Ji activates second stage darkness, turning the air into an endless sword formation. The sword array charges at Shuming. He dodges and rushes at Li Ji, ignoring the danger. He warns that this body can't withstand a rank 3 technique. Li Ji unleashes his ultimate art shadow assimilation escape. He vanishes and reappears behind Shuming, calmly deciding it's time to strike. Shuming hastily raises his sword to block. He sneers, mocking that Li Ji's second state form won't last long. He repeats it won't hold. Jingtian inside asks if Li Ji can endure, and Li Ji grits his teeth, saying he can. Blows rain down, but Shuming doesn't dodge, trusting his armor can't be pierced by such attacks. Seeing that, Li Ji decides to increase pressure and unleashes an explosive punch. The fierce strike cracks the ground beneath, forming a deep pit. Shuming's sword shatters under the collision, breaking into fragments. He immediately switches to defense, abandoning his earlier aggression. Crossing his arms to block, Shuming's soul suddenly separates from the armor, causing his body to lose control. Jingtian speaks anxiously, urging Li Ji to stop fighting. He warns that Li Ji's soul and body might burn out from the overwhelming energy. But Shuming's soul re-enters the armor, laughing arrogantly as if winning the life-or-death gamble, pitying the missed chance of an old man. He coldly mocks, I can't even remember the last time I laughed like this. A fierce torrent of power bursts from him, surging like a flood. The wave forces Li Ji back. Shuming rushes forward with a devastating punch, knocking Jingtian out of Li Ji's body. A black mist from Shuming coils around Jingtian like invisible chains. He laughs coldly, got you, and drags Jingtian toward him. Jingtian lets out a chilling laugh. Ha ha, never thought I'd be bitten by my own dog. But Shuming ignores him, eyes gleaming with triumph. At last, I can truly be reborn. Li Ji's body returns to normal, but exhaustion hangs over him like a heavy fog. He looks anxiously at Jingtian and hoarsely calls, Jingtian, run! yet he can't stand by and watch him be erased. Despite his broken body, he clenches his teeth and endures. He lunges forward and punches at Shiming, but the blow passes through empty air. Shiming smirks, touching. You hold back because you fear burning your friend's soul. He scorns Li Ji as an ant daring to defy him. A violent burst of power erupts from Shiming, blasting Li Ji into a massive rock behind him. Li Ji coughs blood from the corner of his mouth. Jing Tian, worried but sharp-tongued, snaps that a low-ranked fighter like Li Ji should step aside. Li Ji's body trembles under pressure, yet his eyes blaze with resolve. He recalls being used, forced to fight mutants, and pushed to this stage. Now his path is his own to choose. He charges forward, landing a series of resolute, earth-shaking punches. He knows he can absorb surrounding dark energy to counterattack and intends to use it today to destroy the traitor. Shiming laughs scornfully, mocking that Li Ji is courting death and joking about how long his body can last. Jing Tian shouts that he's a fool, warning his body will explode at 2-star overload. Li Ji coldly replies he needs no one's restraint. He feels his body cracking apart. Invisible fragments scatter outward. He almost dissolves into thin smoke. Shiming sneers smugly, mocking the foolish creature he once chose and taunting what he plans to do now become prey. Shiming orders Li Ji to stop struggling and obediently become his food. But just as Shiming revels in triumph, the black mire beneath his feet stirs. A vortex of darkness spirals upward, centering on Shiming. He freezes, baffled by what's happening. Someone wonders if this is Extreme Night, the Dark Domain itself, awakening. He suspects Jing Tian hasn't fully completed the fusion yet. Li Ji's form slowly reforms in the darkness, his eyes cold as he reminds him he said he'd destroy his clan. Shiming swings to counter, but hits only air, unable to touch the figure. Panic seizes him as confusion spreads. Li Ji's system updates. Human, rank C, skills. 3rd stage dark enhancement, shadow sync, dark morph, shadow shift, dark domain, description. Freely alters form and dark energy within the domain, enhances dark attributes, reduces energy drain, and converts slain souls into dark power. Shiming trembles, stammering, the 3rd stage. Li Ji sneers, realizing the soul itself fuels the dark domain. No wonder Shiming fears such overwhelming power. He wonders curiously what will happen once the armor is gone. He raises his hand. A sphere of dark energy bursts forth toward Shiming. Shiming leaps to evade, but in a flash, Li Ji's shadowy form appears silently behind him. A freezing command rings out. "Get out of that armor!" It's followed by a crushing punch from behind. The violent blow slams Shiming into the ground, his armored body cracking like shattered metal. Shiming roars furiously that even if Li Ji's 3rd stage, he's still rank C, the armor can withstand rank A attacks. Li Ji smirks contemptuously. If I can't break it from outside, he'll change my approach. He darts forward like lightning, merging with the darkness and slipping into the armor's gaps. Shiming stammers in terror. Impossible! His soul is forced out of the armor, body trembling uncontrollably. Li Ji holds the armor, voice icy. So you parasitize this to replenish your soul by absorbing darkness. Without its defense, Shiming panics and flees, knowing continued fighting would drain him to death. Li Ji sneers coldly. Trying to escape? You think you have a chance? Chains of darkness lash out, binding Shiming's soul and trapping him mid-air. Shiming still screams, "My soul is entwined with Jing Tian. Hurt me and hell suffer too." But Li Ji calmly replies, "Did you forget? The soul itself is the essence of dark energy." With no armor shielding him, Li Ji tightens the chains and begins draining Shiming's soul energy. Jing Tian breaks free, eyes wide in shock. He stares at Li Ji in disbelief. Meanwhile, Li Ji keeps absorbing, voice emotionless, now become the catalyst for my ascension. Before vanishing completely, Shiming howls, "Don't get too proud." He laughs hoarsely. "When he absorbs me to ascend, do you think hell spare you?" No creature escapes the trial of desire. Li Ji's body surges with immense dark energy, tearing at his limits. The ground beneath collapses into a deep pit, mirroring the violent transformation. He murmurs, "So this is what rank B feels like. System update human, rank B, Third stage Dark Enhancement. Skills, Shadow Sync, Dark Morph, Shadow Shift, Dark Domain. He turns toward Jing Tian, eyes sharp as blades. Jing Tian, now it's your turn. He raises his hand, pulling Jing Tian toward him.